thing I seen was a $200,000 vote injection in Michigan into Matt DePerno's Dana Nessel. So they just crushed Matt just right there in that moment. And Kerry Lake was down by 250,000 votes, and you had like all these Blake Masters down, Mark Fincham down, all these people. It looked like they were going to just steal the whole country. So we're watching this happen, and I go, wow, this is, I'm praying. I'm going, God, don't let them steal everything. We really needed to have the House and the Senate to slow the destruction of our country. Why we get rid of these machines? Well, the morning of the election, what a miracle that happened. I get up and you hear from all over the country, 30 some states had machine problems. What? It was beautiful. I'm calling it a divine intervention. I'm gonna give it a break that they didn't plan. If I was those guys, the evil, the bad, I would have made sure these machines were running beautifully, at least functioning right, because they can steal it on the other end. With 32 states minimum that had problems with people, you stick in paper, it doesn't work, or you got there and they said, I'm sorry, it says here you already voted. And or we had people in Kansas where it was actually flipping their vote. They couldn't get it to stay on the Republican. And we go, ding, ding, ding. This was a blessing. I'm going, thank you, Lord, for showing the whole world that just on the front end alone. And that could have been maliciously done, but I think it would be too. There were different problems in different states, Eric. So they just decimate Michigan and Pennsylvania and Colorado. If we would have got a big red wave, I want everybody watching to really understand this. If the red wave would have came through, do you know how hard it would have been to get our elections back to where it's selection or elections and not select? Never. We would have lost our country.
Coming from a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
Welcome to Brothers in Booze. I would like to thank our guests for choosing crazy over funny. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, we don't condone any of that bullshit.
No, we do not. Fuck that.
Still trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So, God wants bad voting things. What I want, Doug, is a nice, easy Friday night. So, I'm going to ease into it with Imperial Anti-Hero, which is a 10% double IPA.
Starting light. Cheers.
Big old malty. I think it's more malty than hoppy.
Well, with the grand nature of it.
It's hoppy.
Yeah.
It's big hops. It's really nice.
So you just didn't get it on the schnoz, you got it on the taste bud.
Oh, yeah. It's everywhere here.
Yeah. Nice.
It's nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to start light, really light. Actually, I'm going to start with a Pilsner, Idle Days Pilsner. Sorry, folks, I still can't get the latest so you can see the can. This is from, there you go. The Belgian style lager, but it's a Pilsner from Omegang. And pick a Pilsner because I got a cool little glass at the thrift store. It's a Pilsner Kel glass, and I wanted to use it. So, ta-da. Yeah, sure, you're going to make it an easy night there, Zach. Awesome. Easy like Sunday morning, right? Look at that pour. Poof. I'm going to let that
head there.
Yeah, it's going to settle. And I didn't even pour that aggressively, so I'm going to let that sit for a minute before I get to it because I like me some head. I just don't like it that big. So innuendo right off the bat. Oh, man. I'm still a little shook from that first video, man, to be honest.
I get up and you hear from all over the country, 30 some states had machine problems.
and that's a good thing for him. What?
Yeah.
So anyway, Doug. I guess it's best we just jump in.
Yep. And where did you get that from, Greg? TikTok.
Reddit.
That said TikTok at the end, so ta-da.
Right, because someone took it from TikTok and posted it on Reddit.
I see. I saw that
I go to
one.
Reddit. I go to TikTok for two things: Barb and our Revolution guy. That's two people I follow.
Yeah. Well, I saw that a few days ago, and that guy apparently goes to all sorts of public places doing that, and it's fucking funny. And he can really freaking play. Like, it's not like he's just some guy fucking doing dumb shit with a cone in his saxophone. He really is good at it.
Right. The cone is the dumb shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's funny and it's great. And we need more of that shit in our life. Speaking of funny and great, how about our guests tonight?
Yeah. So it has been far too long since we've had this guest back, man. Really, really too long. Do you want me to do the intro or
you're there? You're
all right. Great. So as our tradition is going to be, I think we did it last year, and I'm not sure we did it the year before, but last year was and we had our friend Jeffrey Bernstein on to talk about Thanksgiving food, what he's preparing, because he does a smorgasbord of stuff. And it's like several days of him preparing. So I am so looking forward to hearing about what he's making, because my mouth's going to be watering the whole show. And
smorgasbord.
Yeah. The only problem is we won't have Renee here like last year when they got to discuss nails for 20 minutes, but I do want to talk about his nail stuff too. So we'll get into that as well. So, my friend, as you would say, without further ado, let's bring our guy in, Jeffrey Bernstein, please.
Let's do it.
Yay!
Hey, puppies. Hey, how are you guys?
Good, man. Good to see you.
I feel like I need to apologize for that first video. Oh my God, when you said, do you want to do crazy or funny? I didn't realize you were gonna be smothering us.
What?
What? I was like, Greg, really, dude, really? And then you hype up our Thanksgiving this year, and it's so funny because so much has changed since we really got to last talk. That I am. Hi, Daniel. Hi. I'm so excited to be back. This is third year. I can't believe it.
I couldn't remember if it was the year before as well, but
yeah, third year, and I'm just like, this is super exciting. Like, this is a really awesome tradition. But we're totally going AWOL for Thanksgiving, and we're not going to be doing like our usual smorgasbord. We're keeping it super duper low key this year, mainly because of work. Yeah, but
let's hear about it.
Yeah, no, I think we're going to be doing like chicken fried steak and country gravy for Thanksgiving. That's what I think we're going to be doing.
That still sounds awesome, though.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. That's what I think we're doing. And I'm totally here for it. Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
I think we're going to make a duck, but I have no idea what we're going to make with it. So yeah.
Yum.
The thing
I love aquatic fowl.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's just going to be me and Jill, because our kids are in other locales. Like our oldest in college, he doesn't want to come home. So, and I think custody is such that the other three kids are at their other parents. So just be me and Jill, but we got a small duck, and we'll make that and we'll figure stuff out. Like it'll probably be some sort of potatoes because I fucking love potatoes, so it'll be potatoes
Yum.
there. So, but I don't know what we'll do with it otherwise. But yeah. What about you, Greg? Any plans for you and your crew?
We talked about it last week. It's going to be a big meal.
Yeah.
We're going to have turkey, slow cooker turkey. And we're going to make some gravy, break it all up. Smoked thighs off the smoker. Yes, Zach, 400 for an hour. And a ham steak, maybe. With a little nice glaze on top.
Where's my invite?
Four side dishes. Jeffrey's mac and cheese. Facts.
With raisins.
Some bullshit.
Don't make it white. Don't make it white. Come on.
Right.
Don't do that.
Some bullshit called filling. I don't know what filling is.
Stuffing.
No,
I've heard people.
No, it's filling. It's not stuffing.
I've heard stuffing called filling before, but never.
Filling is instant mashed potatoes and bread or something. It's some white thing from Eastern Pennsylvania.
Of course, throw the Pennsylvania guy under the bus.
Doug, then there's stuffing, and then there's sweet potato casserole, which I see now gets described as a dessert.
Usually, but that's okay. You know.
Okay. And then rolls, collard greens, maybe some asparagus. Got to get some veggies in there, Doug.
Yeah.
Absolutely got to get those
probably a side
veggies.
salad or something like that. But we're set up.
I will have the weekend after Thanksgiving is the collective thing that my parents do for Thanksgiving, Christmas, just because all of us are kind of disparate and kind of hard to get everybody to get together. And that's more of a traditional, like my mom will make turkey. She also makes some ham for people who aren't there. I think this year she's making a turkey breast and she's making ham. And then mashed potatoes. She makes a baked pineapple dish.
Don't mind Zach. He's here.
I love it. I love it. This is great.
But one of the things my mom makes is a baked pineapple thing as a dish. So it's like a pineapple, and then she just bakes it. It gets a nice little crust on it. And then there's a salad she makes that is like with a sweet dressing and hard-boiled eggs, and that's all it is.
Like with iceberg lettuce.
Yeah, it's really good.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, and then cranberry juice, cranberry sauce, all that jazz. Yep.
From the can, right?
No. No, my mom will do the can. Like when we'll probably make cranberry sauce here, but she'll make it homemade. It's freaking delicious.
Oh, fresh cranberries made into a sauce typically? Yeah, delicious.
Yeah, unlike some people who like it from a can.
I mean, I don't mind it from a can, but I mean, I grew up with a can. But I mean, but hello.
So, Doug, you want to talk about this? I know you do.
Yes, I do. Fucking Aaron Gouveia. And the funny thing is, I replied to that and said, "Nice to know that." He said, "This is your yearly reminder," and it was like so. And I replied, "Yeah, it's your yearly reminder that you have the taste buds of a 4-year-old." Because this is
great.
This is how he eats. Like he even said, like he went to New York for something with where he was doing an appearance with his son because of his interest in sewing. And he's in New York City, like a mecca for great food and great restaurants. And he's like, There's a Subway over there and there's a McDonald's there. I'm set. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
So, Doug, is it like when I went to Chicago last week and went to White Castle?
No, White Castle's its own little thing, I think, kind of, isn't it? Like
I don't know.
We don't have a White Castle, so
neither do we.
Yeah, so maybe it was just like, well, you don't have it there. So to me, that's kind of an out. It's like going to like wherever there's an In-N-Out burger and you don't have it. Like you got to go try it. I think that would be more of that. Oh boy.
Oh, yeah. It unfortunately, I wouldn't say cursed white people food, but it's definitely got its roots in white classic culture. It's like a sweet vinegar. Like
Yeah.
it's actually really, really good. I was introduced to a dressing like that and salad like that actually down in Texas during our surrogacy journey.
Mhm.
And I fell straight up in love with it. Like I didn't think I was gonna like it, but yo, really, really
Hard
good.
boiled eggs
Did
cut up
it?
or sliced?
It's usually sliced,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least from
You
what
just
I've
you slide
seen.
it, you do slice, and you put them in a salad. Now, my mom makes it where the salad dressing is warm because she cooks it.
Yum.
So it's a little because it's a
Ooh.
warm salad. So like it's weird because you have this cold iceberg lettuce and a cold hard boiled egg, and you have this
Right, right,
warm
right. And
dressing
then
over it.
warm dressing over it.
Yeah.
Yum.
The only thing is like it doesn't take long for the salad to wilt really fast because of
Of course.
the warm dressing. But yeah,
Yeah. And it's also, iceberg lettuce.
yeah, which
99% water or more.
What is this?
you never had Waldorf.
Waldorf's with marshmallows. Oh,
Is it?
no.
I think that's isn't that the Waldorf, the guy from the Muppets that sits up in the balcony?
Right.
I don't know, but I've definitely had Waldorf salads and they don't have marshmallows in them, but
I think that's
I mean,
ambrosia.
hey,
Doesn't ambrosia?
ambrosia typically has marshmallows.
And
Yeah.
that shit. Sorry,
I
I don't.
can't
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm not the biggest fan of
I know.
ambrosia.
I think.
Although I do like jello salads. Some jello salads are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and I think I think Waldorf is the one that has like walnuts and stuff in it.
yeah, walnuts and grapes. Usually chicken is in it, right? Mayo, good stuff. You're passing some good comments through.
Not with
Not,
Not with
marshmallows.
not with
marshmallows.
marshmallows. Right,
That's their
right.
good. Girl, you got company.
Maybe I got the wrong side.
Yeah, that's okay, Zach. We
It's
still
all
love you.
good. I do.
Well, the point is that it was awful. Right. That's what he said.
Ambrosia salad. That's I think that stuff is weird. All right, I have you ever seen this one guy where he takes old recipes, like his name is Dylan something or other, and he does I see him on TikTok like where he does these things where he's like this old recipe from like the Depression, and it was like a tuna pie or something like that, and it was like the grossest thing. And he makes it, and then he eats it, and then he kind of assesses what it is, and it's kind of fascinating because some of the stuff is good, and some of it is,
Yeah.
for the giddy up, it's going to be terrible. And it's just one that he made where it was like a seafood, it wasn't pie, but it was something like that, and it included like gelatin and like a cup of mayo, and like it was like just. And he put it in like a ramekin and put it in the fridge and pulled it out and just went, and I was like, okay, that looks gross. Dylan Baker, yes.
Okay.
Aggies, that guy. He is. If you go on TikTok or Instagram, you can find him there. He just does.
It almost sounds like it's like a TikTok version of Andrew Zimmern.
Yes, but except he takes like old he'll take recipes
Yeah.
from the 50s,
Like it's just a
60s,
different
70s,
version
and
of it.
Depression. Yeah.
Yeah. He just takes different versions of
Yeah.
I don't want to say gross things because I really don't want to make fun of the food that people had to eat or were eating.
Yeah.
But he takes things that in today's palate and day and age may not necessarily be what we would call appetizing, makes them right.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what Andrew sort of blew open the whole world of like cultural foods and what's acceptable to eat around the world.
Yeah. That's what he calls baking soda. So, yeah.
Oh,
Powder.
floof powder. I'm like, is that like the play on Harry Potter?
And maybe and moo juice for milk, he says. So
Moo juice. Oh. There was this product called Moo Magic that was really fun. It was a flavor packet for milk. I remember that came out many, 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 many moons ago.
Moons. Oh, I see what you did there.
I had to pull the bad dad joke. So yeah, I mean, you don't even have to defend it because hell, it's fucking Thanksgiving. Eat what you want to eat, when you want to eat it, how you want to eat it. So,
Except for Angry Day and that fucking stovetop stuffing shit. That stuffing.
Don't make fun of it. We had it for dinner tonight.
Yeah, all right. I think that's acceptable for you're making for just a dinner for like
It was a week. Yeah, it was a weeknight dinner. Yeah, but for Thanksgiving, no, that's gonna have fresh bread from fresh bread cubes that we've made from home. Like, but we're not making it this year, right? Unfortunately, we'll see. We have still time to think about it.
Yeah,
you're going scale down this year, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I am. I don't know.
Jeffrey, for those who don't know who you are, tell us a little about your food background.
So my food background, I have been in the food industry for 21 years or 20 years this year, actually. I started off as or with a company called Nutrisystem in their research and development department. I spent about 9 years there, moved on to some really awesome startups, and then decided to go out into the fitness industry myself. I made my way back into the food industry before having kids, working as a protein research scientist, and then was a stay-at-home dad for close to 3 years. And then recently, I've taken a job as the VP of Revenue, overseeing the marketing and sales department for a food delivery company, locally here in King of Prussia. So my whole career has been in food, around food, for food, by food, in food. Yeah, pretty much. So that's my background in food. I have my
Well,
degree in culinary science, so food science and nutrition is basically what my degree is in.
yeah, no, it's kind of like somebody who goes in and like works at all the positions in a restaurant. Like you have like done a lot of different stuff in the whole
Yeah,
industry, right?
and in the whole industry, from manufacturing to quick service to frozen food production to shelf stable production, and now I'm in frozen food like production and manufacturing. I loved it. Sandwich artist, that's software.
I'm an artiste.
I wish. That's awesome. Yes, I know that Trader Joe's product, and I agree. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, that's my wife makes cranberry sauce and she puts orange and orange zest in it. And man,
And
that's
and anybody know why we do that?
It makes the cranberry pop.
Well, it does make the cranberry pop, but there's a food science property that without that won't actually make it gel.
uh-oh. All right, well, don't
Well,
leave. Tell us. Stop.
I'm waiting for a good guess, and I made a comment. But anyway, it's about the pectin. So the citric acid and sugar that we typically add to a lot of these jellies and relishes help the pectin that's naturally found in the cranberries to set.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
Look at that.
that's like way over my head.
You're good. If you've ever made like fresh jellies, like pectin is definitely a thing that you'd be familiar with, and you need an acid to make it work.
Right. All
Yeah.
right, Doug. Doug, you got to follow up.
No, I was just following up there. How about let's let it up to you, sir? What do you have?
No.
Oh, that's okay. I am a nail artist, though, so I'll take it. And you don't have to apologize. There is an art to making a sandwich, right? So, a good sandwich, you do have to have an art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think with the sandwich stuff is like knowing what like how even to order things to make the sandwich just like really pop
Absolutely,
and
stay
like
together and not have them
and
slide things out. Or
yep.
there was I can't remember the guy's name. Jeffrey, I think was
Morrow.
what Jeffrey Morrow. Yeah,
He's
crust
just
to crust is a must. Is
yeah,
that was his
yep,
line? Yeah.
yep.
Like, certain things like that, like you need to know, especially when you're making things like grilled cheese or you're trying to put together a sandwich with meat, and like, there's nothing worse than like a sandwich with like deli meat or like especially cured meats, and they're piled too thick, and it's like a chaw like a chore to like bite through, right? Or even like choosing the right kind of bread for a sandwich, whether you want like a really crispy bite, hard bite, crusty bite, soft bite. Anyway, yeah, sandwich, it is an artistry. So
Yeah.
there's no insult. You're good. See?
See? All right, y'all. So if you go back to our old shows with Jeffrey, you can get really we really delved in hard as far as like Jeffrey talking about different things to make, how to make them, how to not to be stressed about it. We talked about leftovers, Doug.
Absolutely, we did.
We've talked about all kinds of things. So y'all need to go back. It's not like we're not going to review some of those things, but I'm going to try to push some other boundaries here with Jeffrey.
Push them. Go.
So, yes. So, Jeffrey, what about people food challenge like Doug and I?
So define food challenge.
We have restrictions on our diet because of our health.
Perfect. Let's go it. Let's talk all about it. That's like completely what my career was based on. Based on
I
it.
know I know you're ready. And this is the
So
first year really.
we're totally
last
ready.
year was what a good year. But this is a really good year because Doug was talking about it before. We got out here, and out here is live, I guess, right, Doug?
Or all you peons joined us.
But yeah, that's kind of blanking. But I know you can ask Jeffrey what I'm trying to say here, which is, help me out, Doug.
So wait, can I actually dive right into it? Do you mind?
Yes.
No.
Oh yeah.
Because
you know
I
what
have
you already know what I'm talking
I
about.
know I already know exactly what you're going for, because it's important that even though, and it's interesting because my perspective on this has changed throughout my personal life. And oftentimes when there is a major health event in somebody's life, does directly or is directly affected by the foods that they eat, there are changes that have to happen, whether it be somebody being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, somebody being diagnosed with like polycystic ovarian syndrome, or even something like a heart attack, right? And being told to modify their diet with something like sodium. So this is something that is super duper important to really think about. And from my own personal perspective and also education, the way in which you can combat that, first of all, salt, right? That's something that is like an ingredient that's everywhere, especially when we're buying commercial products. And even right in the back studio, Doug and I were sort of talking about, how it's been for him since his journey. And I know he's been very open about it. So of course, I'm going to ask, what it's been like. Um, but when it comes to like modifying things like salt, you really don't have to go too crazy. You just have to be smart about it, right? So you got to really learn how to read labels or speak to people who understand food labels so that you can really strategize. So things like when you're making gravy for your turkey, instead of using store-bought stock, you can make it a month, 2 months ahead of time. You can make your own stock from fresh chicken and vegetable scraps that you're using, keep that in the freezer, and then you have your own no added salt stock. You can also, of course, do the commercial route and buy no added salt stock. They do make it bone broth. They are a little bit on the more expensive side. But then you have to go about building flavor. So the beauty of being able to make something at home is that you get to control what goes into it, right? And the more bones you put into your broth, the more flavor you're going to get out of it. Sort of, there's a term called umami, which is that fifth taste sensation: sour, salt, sweet, bitter, and then umami. And then also learning the different types of vegetables that you're able to cook with, right? Mushrooms going into broth are really, really great for adding and boosting up flavor and building broth flavor. But even more than that, just without reducing sodium, I think one of the best things when it comes to heart disease, and one of the greatest things about Thanksgiving that sort of lends itself hand in hand, is back in the 80s, there was a protocol called DASH, Dietary Approach to Stop Hypertension, DASH. Perhaps the most famous commercial product that actually bore its name was Mrs. Dash, which was a whole line of sodium-free seasoning, which took its name literally from that diet.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Right? And realistically, the approach to DASH is to increase your fruit and vegetable serving from the old 3 to 5 fruits to 2 to 5 vegetable to really in like that 6 to 10 category. And that's something where, like, if you're making homemade stuffing, like load up on the onions, carrots, and celery in it. Don't be afraid to boost up that, hidden vegetable content. When you're talking about making gravies, you can actually puree some white beans and mix that into your stock. And that's a really, really great way to add added fiber and added natural plant proteins into the gravy itself. And it's something that you're never, ever, ever going to miss. When it comes, I heard somebody mention cauliflower mashed potatoes. I would go one step further and say mashed potatoes aren't necessarily bad, but cutting half your mashed potatoes with cauliflower, totally a great idea, especially if you don't want to give up the flavor that potato is. Because I've tried cauliflower in a myriad ways, and there's no way you can get it to taste like a potato ever. But if you can cut it and build those vegetables in there, totally cool, right? And Thanksgiving doesn't always have to just be about the meat, and you don't always have to cook the big old fatty cuts of meat, right? You can instead choose a lean turkey breast to cook, right? That's not marinated or pumped full of salt. You can also choose to cook leaner cuts of beef if you wanted to. So there are definitely ways that you can start to approach this kind of a meal from a health perspective without actually sacrificing. So it's super great that we can talk about this, because this is where I feel like I can absolutely lend some stuff. Let's see what this saving bones from chicken you smoke. Absolutely. Smoked foods filled with those umami flavors, super great for building flavor in broths, especially soups.
Yeah.
Especially soups. And yeah, the veggie scraps are absolutely genius. I did it with our CSA this year, where with every batch that we would cut up and put into the freezer, I had a bag of scraps,
hmm
and I just kept a soup bag, right? All my carrot peels, all my onion skins, all my garlic skins. You know, and I know it sounds crazy, but there was a time where that was considered, you know, edible and would be used to flavor things. So I try
Mhm.
not to throw it out, and I'll put it into like a I want to say fishnet bag, but they call them stock bags. They're like cheesecloth, but like in big bags, like these little slender bags. And you can throw all your veggie scraps and stuff in there. Throw that into your pot of water, so that at the end of the 6-8 hours or however long you choose to cook your broth, pick that bag up, squeeze it all out, get all that juice out, all those veggies, then throw the bag away. Everything's gone.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, there are so many super creative ways. You just have to really look at the things that you're doing, and of course, eat a rainbow every day, right? And that could be like the most perfect thing for things like Thanksgiving, right? Making sure that you're eating your sweet potatoes, getting your vitamin A and carotenoids, those are super good for your body, right? Making a good fruit crisp, like filled with berries, right? All
Mhm.
those super great, easy desserts that you can load with things like oatmeal and bulgur crisp on top instead of like your laden butter stuff. So yeah, there are definitely ways that you can get creative and still be incredibly helpful for Thanksgiving.
I'd also like to point out that the British make something called neeps and patties, which is turnips and potatoes, and that
Yeah,
shit's delicious too.
it's
I
so
found that,
good.
and it's a good way to augment it if you don't want all the potatoes, but you want to. It's another root vegetable, so
Yep.
but it's really really delicious together.
Another really fun one to go with potato or parsnips. And parsnips roasted are just like fucking, they're just so sweet. They're like candy.
Yeah.
Um, as a Jew, parsnips are like integral to like chicken soup. So like we grew up eating boiled parsnips, but I remember when I roasted my first parsnip, I felt like I had a whole food gasm in and of itself because it's like caramelized goodness. It's like a step up from a carrot. Like, and I love carrots, especially roasted carrots.
Hmm.
Are there any, like, I would love people's questions on how to like modify or look at a recipe, because that's where like, I mean, I would say 3/4 of my whole career was in helping people modify stuff like that. I don't know how many people are on. Oh, Timus for the win.
Yeah. What is tisms? What is that?
I'm not sure. It sounds like a Yiddish
Daniel,
word, actually. Timus.
uh,
Maybe I'm wrong.
please elaborate, Daniel, because
Right.
we're
Here,
befuddled
here
by
you go,
that.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, dairy, absolutely. And there are some pretty cool dairy alternatives nowadays. Like some really, really great dairy alternatives. Although I don't really like the logo to it because it looks like it's saying the word nipple. If you get Ripple soy pea milk is probably one of my favorite alternative milks to cook with. But yeah, it's the most neutral of the flavors. It doesn't have a thin flavor like rice milk has like this very thin flavor. It doesn't have
Or
like an artificially like
oat
yeah,
milk,
even
I find that way too.
yeah, I find oat milk to also be very, very thin. And while I love like white wave products, there's this like an awful like mouthfeel that it leaves that's like artificially like milk fatty. And I know that that's what they go for, but it's not my particular favorite. But I've really fallen in love with like it's what's it called, Ripple soy milk, pea milk. It's pea milk.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What do you think? What do you think of when you hear the word Ripple, Greg?
Nipple.
No, Sanford and Son, because he used to drink Ripple. That was his
Yes,
drink that he used to drink.
yes, he did.
It does have a lot of carbs, but carbs aren't necessarily bad. I mean, and there are definitely nutritional philosophies, and I don't want to necessarily get into like which is better, which is not. There are lots of studies that show benefit to all, but carbs aren't inherently bad. We just have, as a culture in America, especially, we have a horrible, horrible relationship with carbs, and it was actually born many, many, many years ago, more than most people think. It was a diet sort of born out of the 1870s. So yeah, we've had a really long, complicated history of carbohydrates. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is.
So
Aha, I know what
that
he's
sounds good.
talking about. Yes, yes. I haven't heard that term since I'm a kid, dude. So Daniel, core memory, poof, unlocked. But this is exactly what I used to grow up with. Like literally to a T, this is what my grandmother, the Holocaust survivor, would make for us. Like hands down.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Like I'm salivating remembering this. And I love that he actually has the Hebrew written there, and of course the Yiddish, right? Tzadi Yud Mem Ayin. It's great seeing Hebrew letters there. So cool, awesome.
Daniel, he's multi-dynamic, ain't he?
Yeah, that guy knows more than he's forgotten more than I know, I think.
Well, do for Daniel parents. He appears early January on the stream.
Yeah, because I really want to get his opinion on that show Peripheral if he hasn't seen it yet. He was talking about watching that, but that's another.
Yeah, I want to know news about Wakanda Forever too.
Oh yeah, he did go see that.
I have to go see that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think that was the last movie I saw in the theater. Was Black Panther.
Black Panther. Man, what did I?
I haven't.
I can't remember what the last.
That was right before the pandemic.
Yeah,
that was right before pandemic.
Yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah, can you remember what was the last movie you saw? Have you been since?
I have not been since. No, the last movie. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of what the last movie was that I saw. I have no idea. I mean, actually, my husband is. It just reminded me. Yeah, the last movie that we saw was Frozen 2. The kids were 2 years old when it came out. That was the last movie we saw. 100%. Wow. Yeah, it's been that long.
You need to let it go.
Thank
you. Anyway, what's going on? It looks like you have something else going on.
Who, me?
Yeah. You want a second?
No, I have a second beer.
Just so y'all know, Jeffrey doesn't drink. So I
Nope.
don't think he has anything. What do you have in there?
I have Crystal Light iced tea tonight with a little bit of lemonade mixed in.
Nice.
Right.
I know.
So,
you're doing your second?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going one I've never had. I just saw it and thought I'd pick it up because it's Granite Bock from some Austrian brewery. So I don't know, but yeah, I just was like, I like Bock beers, so I'm like, great, let's pick this up and see how it is. I think I bought it for like $5. So $5 is a pretty good deal for a 22-ounce bottle. I think it is. Brad, break out my dirty glass.
Mwah.
Look at that.
That's nice.
That looks lovely. Pardon the dirty glass. Dirty glass gang as we are here.
It's pretty though.
It's really roasty on the nose.
Pretty.
Very. It's a very pretty dark chocolate color.
Oh yeah. Taste has chocolatey flavors to it. It's nice roasty Bock with chocolate notes in the mouthfeel. Just really roasty on the nose, but that's a good solid Bock. Like I haven't had one of these in a while.
Excellent.
It's called Hofettner. Hofettner. I've never heard of that one. So.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
So then you'll open this up now, Doug. We got to rate Jeffrey's background.
The Roommate.
Please.
Okay, Doug. You can go first.
Yeah, it's just pictures of our whole family. And what we do.
Wait, what's in the back there, though?
The statue.
Oh, the statue? Oh.
It looks like.
Oh, are you ready for this one? There is an amazing story behind this.
Good. Let's hear it.
Can I bring it closer?
Let's rate it before we get the story, Doug. We don't want that to skew our. Whoa. Jeffrey's background is definitely a 9.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I would do 9.2 because I like kids' pictures. That's good. I think it's awesome.
That is fucking awesome.
Yeah. All right. It's a bull and a tiger? Lion?
Yeah. It is a bull and a tiger, or a lion, actually, I believe it's called El Cid. I could be wrong with the name. Actually, before I sit, I'm going to show you that I'm not making any of this up, but every one of their carvings was hand inscribed. This is my grandfather. He carved this in 2008, all by hand without a single electronic tool.
Holy moly.
This is a hobby that my grandfather picked up circa 1970. Picked up a small piece of wood and started carving. The very first piece he did was a dog that was based off of, and this is something that we've put together many years later. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't have enough of a memory of it, but I want to say yes because it's something that he was very interested in. But again, all I remember is that I think it was El Cid, but that if you know more, help me because it's not something that I ever researched. It's just something I always took for granted with him. He was always super knowledgeable with like whatever he named his stuff. But this dog that he carved was actually an apology present for my mom. As a way to say, I'm sorry for having taken your childhood dog away from you. Because there's a really crazy story around it. But yeah, back in the 60s, I guess my grandmother was fed up with this dog that they got, Skipper. And when my mom went to school, they got rid of Skipper. And my mom was never quite the same. And it's sort of the reason why my mom is really big into rescuing dogs nowadays. So we posit that carving was my grandfather's way of saying, I know I was wrong and I'm sorry, but it's also his very first carving. I think it was from like 1971.
The year I was born. So that's a long time ago.
So yeah, his carvings got increasingly intricate and he would always keep count of like, good for you. Good for you. God, AP Spanish. I did take that many years ago. Actually. Yeah, I took it many years ago. But yeah, my grandfather had so. It's got to be the best comment all night.
Yeah, and I wonder if Zach's going to wear. Does Zach wear slippers when he pees, or does he wear flip flops? he changes shoes to answer his door. That's fine.
That's really funny.
It's weird. He's weird.
Anyway,
continue.
Oh yeah, we have. I would say most of the art, probably 70% of the art in our home, is from my grandfather. Outside of pictures that we've had printed or art that we've had like curated. If my computer were a little bit more flexible, I'd show you. We have a whole queer and like Black Lives Matter wall over here in our dining room that sort of like fills this whole space between like, you know, rainbow fists and stuff, just to always kind of like remind us. So like we're pretty intentional with our stuff. So we want to make sure that we keep like our family history alive. So yeah, we have, I want to say 30 different carvings of his that are all, you know, sporadically all over the home, just to kind of remind us of like his talent. We also have like oil paintings, and he did oil paintings and watercolor paintings that we have also all over the walls. So yeah, that's a crazy story, but it's like, it's irreplaceable stuff. Like I've never seen any kind of art like that. So
yeah,
it's like,
to do that by hand as well. Like
I still have his hand carving set. Like that's one of the things that we have in our garage still. Like all the different knives he has. Couldn't tell you how many sets of knives the guy had. I mean, it was incredible what he would do, and just I always would stand there in awe watching him, and it was totally awesome.
Yeah, that's something like. Woodworking is something that I really wish that I had the means to buy the equipment for. Like, not like carving, that's beyond my level of creativity, but being able to like make things. But like the equipment to like make stuff well is not cheap, and you need space. And like we don't have the space or the money for all that, so it's kind of like a big pipe dream. But
I know it.
But it's something like I watch stuff like for people that are like woodworkers and they make all this shit. And I'm just like, that's fucking fascinating.
It's amazing. And like when you get into like wood burning and like the different heated tools that they make for wood art, it's mind blowing what you're able to do. Like I don't know anything about it, so I sit here just in awe of what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But no, my art comes in the form of miniatures, usually on my little nails. That's my. Here's the joke in the house. I can hear my grandfather saying, Jeffrey, I love that you picked up a paintbrush and started doing it, but why the fuck are you doing it on your nails? Like I could totally hear my grandfather saying it that way. Like, but there's a part of him that's still celebrating the fact that it's art. So,
right.
Anyway.
So, you get free breakfast at one of these. Pick one.
Which one? Which one gets kicked out? Is that what we're asking?
I
Free
mean,
breakfast at 1, Doug.
Free breakfast at 1?
Yep.
Wendy's.
Taco Bell.
Wendy's.
I'm gonna say hate or Chick-fil-A. I call them hate chicken. But
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
Doug, you better watch Wendy's. The reason I didn't pick Wendy's is because it's sodium soaked.
It's not that I would eat there. I don't. Like, I don't eat fast food unless I'm
me,
like stuck.
It's horrible. No. I'm saying even free, you need to go to the other one. Just watch it, buddy.
Yeah. Well, then maybe if we're gonna
definitely, I literally went through these menus after I had my heart attack. I literally went through these menus because I want to make it where I don't think, especially on the road. I do a lot of road trips, as y'all know. Sometimes you're just stuck.
You're stuck, and you have
These
to
are
make
the
a
options.
decision.
Right.
And so many of them have gotten rid of salads since post-COVID because of supply chain issues. So it's like hard to find low sodium options, right? And who the hell wants to eat, a salad while they're driving, especially on a road trip?
What McDonald's is bad. Don't get me wrong, but Wendy's is
It's
really
far,
bad with the sodium.
it's really bad with salt.
I don't know why. I don't know what the hell.
Then maybe Taco Bell is the right way to go, because the funny thing is like
correct.
the one thing that is like when you look at sodium, the sodium is tortillas are like commercially produced tortillas are incredibly loaded with sodium. Like if you get like a pack of tortillas and you take them home, that's like 800 or 900 milligrams of sodium in a tortilla. Whereas if you get
it also depends on, it does depend on what kind of tortilla you're getting. So if you're getting corn tortillas or you're getting flour tortillas, it does make a huge difference. Most varieties of corn tortillas are going to be on the lower salt side, by the way.
Okay.
But most people don't like the texture of corn tortillas. They tend to be much more crumbly, but I prefer, that's to me a much more authentic flavor. But unfortunately, like flour is built on salt. Right. There are like sort of known percentages in the food science space where like you just really can't put a product out without that much salt because just the flavor threshold is not going to be there. But
look at Manny.
I don't know what the question was, but cereal.
Yeah, Manny is our resident cereal expert.
And actually, no, you're not wrong, Zach. And that's actually one of the reasons why I chose Taco Bell, because it's one of the few fast food places that you can get like vegan products at, like vegan foods at. You can also really, really, really heavily customize. Yes, they're, don't make fun of the employees and say they're going to get it wrong, because that's just bullshit. But like, I have definitely been able to modify a ton of Taco Bell stuff. And the other thing too, taking the dash approach, if you want to be able to modify something and there is a ton of salt, add a ton of vegetables to it. Counteract that by adding vegetables that are going to be higher in potassium. If you can increase the ratio of your potassium to your sodium, you're going to ultimately do much better for you than just getting that salt, right? So if you wanted to add a ton of iceberg lettuce to something, like go the fuck ahead and do it so you can enjoy it. But like try to alter that potassium to sodium ratio.
Yeah. The thing with also, I was just going to mention, like hard tacos, way lower in sodium. Like some of them are no sodium.
Correct. They're salt. That's because they're corn. They're corn tortillas.
Yeah, and those things are like when we have like Mexican food at home and we can make all the stuff, and everybody gets like the tortillas, and I'm like, great, you guys have that. I'm just gonna have it in taco shells, and that's right. It sounds weird that would be something that would be so high in sodium, but it is.
No, flour products. So get them without cheese. I mean, well, I don't know if I haven't had a Taco Bell breakfast in since my kids were born, so I don't even know what they offer anymore. But I couldn't even tell you.
I haven't been in a while either.
I sadly know too much about McDonald's because of my 5-year-olds, but I won't go there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, I wonder how much cheese they have, but yeah.
It's a lot. And cheese also, I actually have never had a jicama tortilla. Those are not the jam. I'm going to have to. And here I got excited because there's something I haven't had.
And it's a thing. Zach, like he's goofy on here. He cooks a lot. He makes a lot of different kinds of foods. He's really good at cooking, and he tries all kinds of stuff. So like he's really.
I agree, Zach, by the way. Yeah. I agree. It's something that a colleague of mine, Dr. Tom, he and I agree at. Like, it can be definitely sometimes awkward trying to modify something, and I love app ordering for that reason. gotta absolutely give props to that ability.
Hmm.
Panera, by the way, is a phenomenal place.
That's
If,
like
Panera.
Panera.
Yeah,
Huh.
you can do a lot of great modifications with it. I absolutely love the menu that they have.
Panera.
Yeah, you can do so many good things. That's great.
Hopefully no copyright infringement after that one.
That's funny.
And Panera is one of those things like it's never forefront and always feels like kind of like white person cheating. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
White person.
Like, oh, we're gonna make this healthy option, but it's like a somehow like a cheat. I don't know. It just feels weird. But yeah, and the thing is, the good news is like you can get a sandwich, you can get half of a sandwich.
Yeah.
Which means you can just kind of manage that instead of you can get an apple instead of
Yeah.
chips and like
Panera has oatmeal. Man, their
Oatmeal's great
pretty
for
damn
you.
Good. Their
Yeah.
oatmeal's good, dog. I don't know if you ever had it.
At Panera?
I have it. What oatmeal?
Good. Yes.
Regular. I've never had
Very
Panera
good.
oatmeal, but
Yeah.
regular
Pretty
oatmeal
damn good.
I eat in my house all the time. So yeah.
It comes with berries and strawberries and
Yum.
it's fucking good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, what's not good for you? I loaded up all the questions to Jeffrey, all the great. Doug, we're dead on this one, but what are we gonna do? So pick two.
Oh, I have my two.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
I have my
Jelly.
two.
I have my two, jelly filled and fritters.
Ooh.
So Daniel will like this one because
Ooh.
if since Daniel's clearly a Mott, we grew up with something called sufganiyot. Basically, they're fried jelly donuts that you get around Hanukkah. So for me, like a jelly donut, especially a good jelly donut like that, at least looked like it, even though it wasn't like a sufganiyot. They're like one of my. I could eat too many of them in a sitting. And fritters, fuck yeah. The most versatile fried thing. You can put anything in a fucking fritter and fry it, and it's delicious. So, got my
Those
fat boy
apple
heart.
ones. Those apple ones.
Yeah.
Doug.
Cream filled and glazed.
That's cream filled and frosted.
I would like to like Boston cream donuts are a weakness of mine. I will say Dunkin' Donuts makes the worst fucking Boston cream donuts I ever had. They leave this weird film
I can't stand
aftertaste
them.
in your mouth. Like I don't. Am I the only one that thinks that like this weird film that comes in?
They're
like,
terrible. They're
ugh.
terrible.
Ugh.
I don't like them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nope.
What?
Salad cream donut. Salad cream is like a British thing, isn't it?
Doug. Again, you're getting lectured here. Eating ain't cheating, Doug.
Oh, it's funny. That's so nasty.
That's
I'm sorry. Like, Asiago roast beef. I remember that sandwich at Panera. It was very good. So I love it. Those are my favorite. I mean, that's what we used to make growing up.
I thought that Zach Stab was also like an actor. Maybe he was an
I
actor
don't know
rabbi. That would be cool. A rabbi actor.
Maybe Zach had two dads.
My Two Dads was a really dumb show from the 80s, so it's possible.
Jeffrey's a two-dad house.
Yeah, but My Two Dads, the TV show, is based on a mother died and didn't know which guy was the dad and sent the kid to live with both the dads. It was like the weirdest fucking show idea. Like, what are you doing?
Just terrible. Like, can we not? Can we just not? Absolutely.
There was a lot of cocaine in the 80s. I guess that's what we should take out of that.
Here's your
Boarding acting and became a rabbi. How cool.
Hey, cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Hey. And all the claims say I'm
Pretty
pretty fly for a
for-
rabbi. Oh my God, I can't. I can't. Oh, that's like Jewish dad joke right there. I love it. Jewish dad realness.
Doug, we have a question of the day, but I don't think Jeffrey can answer it.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't have it set up.
If you can bring it up.
All right. Well, the question of the week is, Doug, what are you doing?
What am I
What is
doing?
what is your line? When will you cut bait if you do?
Could you repeat the question? You were cutting out a bit for me. What was the question again?
What is your line with being on Twitter? Is there a line where Elon could pass and you say no?
Well, we're getting there really quick. I'm gonna say it's kind of funny watching it, like when you're in the middle of watching this shit just melt down in real time, and you're just kind of you're in it. You can see all the shit where they were doing like verified accounts, and then people were doing like, I'm gonna verify myself and then change my name to like this company name, and Eli Lilly, which makes insulin and charges an insane amount for it. Somebody made a fake account.
Jeffrey?
And
What's that?
You heard about this?
Oh yeah, this is
and they were like, hey, everybody, insulin's free, and their stock just like fucking took a shit. And I was like, this is great. All right, this is the chaos I want out of Twitter. This is great.
I actually just unsubscribed yesterday officially.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to doing it myself. I did sign up for Mastodon, but I didn't actually sign in and do anything with it.
I can't even bring myself to go to some of those sites. I want to. There's a part of me that is just like the rubbernecker that wants to see what's there.
Were the best.
Yeah, like it's why I joined. What was that, Parlor, many years ago? But it was like it was just too unhealthy for me at the end of it, because like I needed to get out of that talk. Like, no, couldn't be there. I see too much crazy in the real world on a day-to-day that I don't need to see it in my social media space.
Yeah,
Parler literally opened you up to FBI probes, literally, because after January 6th, they went through all
Parlor stuff. Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want nothing to do with that stuff anymore.
Yeah,
nah.
There is something else coming out that is the guy who founded Twitter, Jack Dorsey, is making called Blue Sky. So you can sign up to do that. So I did sign up to see if they would get an invite for it to see what it is, but we'll see.
Doug, my answer is the paywall. I'm not paying for Twitter.
Period. Me either. Fuck that.
That's the line for me. So if that happens, bye. If not, I'll stick around and see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
I put a lot of content out there with my spaces and stuff like that. So kind of and I didn't see the Doja Cat antics.
Oh, that was great. She had changed her name to Christmas. And she's like, and Musk locked all the names, so you couldn't change any of the names. She's like, can someone change this? Like, I don't want to be Christmas forever. And Elon Musk said, should be able to change your name now. And she replied and changed her name to Elon Musk. It said, thank you. Hey, Elon Musk with a check mark behind it.
What a fucking disaster.
Yeah. No, it's not. I
Go on,
didn't cost her anything. I was just going to say, Daniel said Blue Sky is greater than Vanilla Sky. Vanilla Sky was not as bad a movie as people think it was.
Oh, okay. Jeffrey, you into this one?
You can find. I'm felling over here with all the talk. At Dad Nails on Instagram is like the most likely place you'll find me be posting right now. It's my favorite space. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great nail content. Like if you want to see somebody, like we talked about art, check out their nails. When you see that shit, you're just like, holy fuck! Like I couldn't. I would have not nearly the amount of patience you have to do that. I would be just like, that's it. I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, no, Dad Nails. I've limited what I do on Facebook for I don't know why. No real reason.
Well, that's starting to take a dump too. They just fired like 1,100 people.
I was gonna say it's close to 1,100 people. I think it was, right. Yeah, it's crazy. It's I don't know. I'm finding that a lot of these spaces, it's taking too much of the culture wars and it's just amplifying it to a place where it's just not cool anymore. right? And then people take snippets of what they see as a culture war and then they amplify that. Like, I think the most perfect example is, once you go woke, you go broke. And it's just like you take a whole, what was an actual movement, and then you fucking destroy it by trying to play around with it and really take away from the original intent and meaning. So
Mhm.
like I'm finding myself shying away from that's why I like my Insta page, because I get to just curate my own content. I get to it's my little platform in the sky where I shut shit down. Right. Facebook became too open and too public at one point and it became out of control for me. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know.
All right, I'm going to ask a question to all of us here that are watching and you guys. I was having a discussion with my wife about this week where I have a lot of discussions. Like I talk a lot on like Facebook Messenger. So I use that. I don't use the Facebook itself all that much, although I posted a few things recently, but usually it's just dumb shit. And I'll promote the show there because we broadcast live on there. But I think with social media, and not to make this up, social media sucks soliloquy here, but like the idea of like it was supposed to be this thing where you connected with people, like-minded people, and be able to share ideas and do all this stuff, which on the surface sounds fucking great. And I found that online for sure. But what I don't have is real life shit. Like real life, like I talk to people like Jeffrey, I've talked to you a couple of times, like just out of the blue. Greg, I talk to every day or every other day, but it's all online. Greg's in Wisconsin. I'm here. Like I can't be like, hey, Greg, let's go grab a beer. Let me drive 9 hours and
Right.
I'll go hang out with you. Like there's some sort of like, I almost believe it's contributed a bit to, there's this kind of a little bit of a movement on things like TikTok where men will talk about the loneliness factor they have, where it's like, I don't have guys to hang out with. I don't have guys that I can just, and it's not even a matter of like the shit you do when you hang out watching sports. That's a different piece. It's getting to a point where guys are realizing they should be able to express their feelings and share their feelings with another guy and not feel ashamed to do that and be comfortable and safe in that space to do it. But I can share stuff with Greg online, but it's not the same as being in person.
No, I
Do
can.
you guys see that as, or am I just talking about out of my ass?
No, I don't think you're talking out of your ass. And I can speak from very recent, very personal experience. I went to my first in-person DadCon, and for a whole host of reasons, I was extremely uncomfortable going. I was invited as a contributor to one of their breakout sessions. And while I got myself incredibly pumped up to go, I got a whole bunch. I was teaching dads how to paint nails. That's what they wanted me to do. Right. And for me personally, I don't normally subject myself to overtly straight spaces, heteronormative spaces, because it doesn't normally accept who we are. Especially a whole group of men just does not sound enticing to me. Um, Especially that which caused me a lot of heartache growing up. So I just tend to avoid those kinds of spaces. So I purposefully tried to put myself out there, and it frankly was one of the best experiences I've had in my entire fucking adult life. And having been through COVID and having been isolated, connecting with real people face to face, being able to hug one another. Yes, I was masked for quite a lot of the time. It didn't matter. But being able to look into people's eyes and have these kinds of conversations and being able to connect, my queerness to, a whole bunch of other people's experiences, especially those that are straight that are raising queer children, was it reminded me how much as a species we are designed to be together. And
Mhm.
there's nothing that will replace virtual content and virtual connections. You can try all you want, but there is nothing that replaces looking into somebody's face, because I would bet you we wouldn't have the same kind of divide we have if it weren't for some of the walls that we've built up around each other, because there is this false sense of hubris and whatnot that comes from the keyboard, that comes from the screen when you don't get to look into somebody's eyes when you call them a faggot. It's like, you can easily type that, but you don't get to really see how somebody winces, right, or recoils when you misgender them in public or in a place where you don't expect it to happen. And so yeah, being in face-to-face dynamic was it was so refreshing. So no, you're definitely not alone, Doug, like at all in that.
Yeah, and it's something. One of the things that it's unlikely that Dad 2.0 is ever going to come back for us. But I'm going to tell you that was one of my favorite experiences every year. Is I could go and I could see a bunch of people that were in the same boat as I was, and
Yeah.
just being able to talk to people about a lot of different things. And I mean, a lot of different things, a lot of different people,
Yeah.
a lot of different experience, a lot of different culture. Uh, yeah, it's something where I'm going to miss that. And yeah. Manny, there's some people that I could see where you get that sort of cynical view, because especially I think the online shit just makes you think that more so. Like that's where you see all
I
the
believe it. I believe it.
yeah.
I
And
believe it. I've seen such evil and hate come out online. Like things that I can't imagine somebody being able to physically say to another human being directly
they
to their
couldn't,
face.
because
Like,
there'd be
and it's
consequences.
right there seriously would be. I mean, and I've fully been subject to people spewing out verbal hate to me all the time. I mean, shit, I get it weekly with my hands whenever I pick up a coffee from the wrong shop right for the drive-through, and someone's like, "Ooh," right? I get it all the goddamn time. So it's like, nah. I think I don't know. We still have so much more to evolve, but
Yeah, and I don't know what you're talking about, Zach, because we've never actually hung out in person. Although I would love to hang out with Zach in person, because that'd be a fucking blast. But yeah, it's something where, all right, you're completely right on some of that, Manny. I can't disagree
I
there.
can't disagree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's absolutely anyone that were to disagree with that, I think is
Living under a
overtly
rock.
blind. Yeah, it's like purposefully blind, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's like people that no one group of people are monolithic, in the nature where everybody's good, right? There's going to be a
Mm.
mix of good, bad, in between. But for what it's worth,
Yeah.
that beast of a human brought a whole ass ugly right up to the damn surface.
Hmm. Yeah, unfortunately so. And
So true, Daniel.
but it's one of the things that I think that actually is been sort of a blessing is the wrong word, but it's made us aware of, like, oh, we thought you guys were okay, but clearly you got some shit to work
Hmm.
out, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to associate with that stuff. And maybe that's sort of, people see that as a wedge. Well, why can't we just all get along? You shouldn't have to get along with people that
No.
don't think you're an equal person.
No.
You
Correct.
shouldn't you shouldn't have you shouldn't have to get along with someone who thinks you're an enemy of the entire country because you believe, worship, or look different than them. That's a bunch of
Yeah.
bullshit.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
And
I don't
those
have to
people,
play.
and
I shouldn't have to play nice. I shouldn't have to play nice because that's what we were told to do.
yep.
Right. And it doesn't mean that we can't have actual conversations and come and find common ground. I'm not talking about not finding common ground. Right. But when you come down and attack people's humanity based on the color of their skin, because of their gender identity, because of their sexuality, or how they how they choose to love others, like
Or their religion.
right, or religion, absolutely. I
Hmm.
mean, fuck all that. Fuck all that. Right? There isn't one right way to do it, and somebody to think that is, yeah, it's not cool.
No,
It's
and
just not cool.
it's something where I don't. And this is something with the younger generation, and I say younger generation. I'm 51. I have teenage kids and one 21-year-old kid, and the way they approach things is vastly different than what I did as a kid. And I'm really here for it. I think it's great how they're not willing to listen to the bullshit. They're not going to be capitalist drones. They're not going to sit there and just do what you say. They'll question things. Now, sometimes that shit's really frustrating, because there's some real
Hmm.
world shit I know that I have experience with, that
Right.
I want to give you some information to try to make you feel
For
better,
sure.
and uh, make you be able to cope with things better.
Right.
Because while I want the world to be more open, it's not quite there yet.
No, it's not going to be. I mean, we were built on incrementalism, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I mean,
unfortunately. So, but
hello, welcome back.
Hello, hello. Jeffrey, have you seen?
Chef
sorry.
Father, I'm gonna have to. I'm actually J. Kenji Lopez. No, and I've been in the nail community now for close to 3 years. Do you know what they're? I mean, I'll Google. I'm just gonna take a snapshot with my phone real quick. Because no, I don't know who they are, and I would absolutely love to see their game. Chef, father, nail painter. I mean, completely and utterly family. Of course, as long as they're queer affirming and they're all about equity, I'm cool with that. So.
Mm-hmm. Legally Manny's
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I
legally,
wish
Doug.
to Daniel, if I may, I wish to Daniel's
Yep.
point, identify with being a human first. It's I appreciate that perspective. I really do appreciate that perspective. I wish others were able to share in that and actually believe in that. It's truly egalitarian to a manner or to a degree because unfortunately most people don't see folks. Well, I wouldn't say most. There are people who don't see my humanity first, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people like me or people with darker skin, they don't see their humanity first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually all we're asking for, right?
Yeah.
Is to see that and not
Mm-hmm.
judge and not make stupid things about it because it's like really like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, fuck all that. Like
Fuck
ah,
all that. Yes, but not fuck all this, Doug.
so
Oh,
what's your
wait.
second?
It's
I can't see it. The vanilla death. Ooh, Death Tar vanilla variant. Ooh, very nice.
Oh, oh,
it's really nice, Doug. Big,
How much? What's
big
the ABV on
drinker.
that?
Yeah, I can't see it because I'm getting old and blind. Let's see here.
I think that's the first
Wow.
time. I think that's the first time you've ever turned the light on in the show. So
Wow. I can't even read this.
because the Death Star is 14.5% ABV.
All right, I need to. We'll figure this
really?
out.
Yeah, that's it. The regular variant is 14.5. That's a lot.
Yes. I can't.
That's a high ABV thing. So Greg, what are you getting out of that? Like, do you get how's the vanilla in that?
13.6.
13.6. So did you get the vanilla out of that? Because it's like a barrel aged beer.
Yeah, the vanilla's prominent.
Mhm.
But it's not overbearing. It's nice. I'm not really getting that much barrel age. I got this fresh from the brewery, so it's not like a you know liquor store shelfie sitting there all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really nice, and I like the small can, Doug.
Yeah.
We
With that
need
high.
more of this. We need more of this in our industry, y'all. Which is y'all making these big ABVs in smaller cans. We
Mhm.
don't need the bombers. We don't need the big tall glasses. I mean, they're nice, but I really like this because again, it's just what I need, Doug. I don't need any more than this shit. I don't. It's seven. Oh no, I'm sorry.
How
It's
many ounces is that
13.
can? Is that a 10-ounce can?
12 ounce.
Yeah, it's a 12-ounce can. Yeah.
Oh, it must be a
So
little bit more in diameter than I can see
yeah, it's
because
just
it,
like
it
a
looks
normal
it looks
can.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
hmm.
normally, Jeffrey, these big ABVs, a lot of these big stouts come in
Yeah, they'll come in like
bombers.
16-ounce
Yeah, I
cans
was
and
gonna say 16
everyone
for
has
Right,
their
sure.
right.
22-ounce bottles.
That's a
And
lot
Doug,
of
this was a
alcohol.
4-pack too. So
Yeah.
this is a 4-pack of. Usually these are 6s. This is a 4-pack. Again, I respect it. I liked it. The shit was expensive though, Doug.
Mhm.
I paid
The Deepwood series is very expensive. Yes.
that shit is. I paid $60 for 8 beers, Doug.
I believe it.
How much?
And
Too much, Jeffrey.
yeah, well, the thing is, that is a very limited release kind of thing. They don't make a lot of
Right,
Okay.
it.
Okay.
right.
So,
So
It
that's
was
so
like
eight
the
beers.
and that
Oh,
shit
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
get distributed very far. Like Revolution Brewing is a big brewery, but they don't distribute. Like I get none of their
listen,
beer here.
beer
And
is your passion and your hobby.
Mhm.
I am not one to judge. You don't. I mean,
Oh,
I'm fortunate that I don't spend a lot on the nail products, but I'll tell you, I'm very picky when I do. So I
Mhm.
will, especially if it's good and limited, I will spend.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
This is one of those situations, Doug, where I just bought it though. Like,
Yeah.
I like, I'll have that and then put that, and he's like
Like a kid in the
$65, and I was like, okay.
like a kid in
I
a
didn't
candy
say
store.
no. I could have said no, and I didn't. So there's where.
Enjoy it. That's what I say.
Yes, yes. Um, yep, Doug. What's going on?
Yep. Well, speaking of just buying something, I just happened upon this today, and I was very happy. I will buy every one of these when I can find them. So this is this is the latest Dragon's Milk variant. This is their s'mores variant. Dragon's Milk is my absolute favorite stout of all time, and they make a million variants every year. Well, not a million; they make like 5 or 6. I had their Stroop waffle one a few weeks ago, but this one I just saw. So yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, I will pick that up. Thank you. I think a few years ago they made the s'mores variant as well. It was the best s'mores beer I've ever had, bar none.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be curious to see how this
I
compares
had
to
it
that
at
one.
the,
S'more
Remember
none.
that? S'more none. See how you are.
yeah, I had it at the
dirty
brew pub.
glass. Sorry, folks. Yeah, sorry, folks. Another dirty glass.
That's a place that's almost halfway between us.
What's that?
New Holland is almost halfway between us.
Oh, that might be a meeting place. So there we go. Nice dark.
Yeah,
Oh, like the graham cracker and chocolate are like right in the face. So yeah, very, very, very much on that. Don't smell much of the marshmallow though.
I mean, marshmallows don't have too much of a smell.
No, but usually because they make it with lactose, it's not actual marshmallows.
Sure.
They usually get us
Is that what they're getting the dairy flavor from the marshmallow? They're using lactose.
lactose.
Are they using that just to feed the yeast, or as a flavor?
I'm not sure. A little bit of both. I think I'm not positive because I don't know the brewing process all that well. Greg,
It's mostly just an adjunct that adds flavor, or I'm sorry, as body.
I was gonna say lactose is typically used for like body and a lot of like liquid beverages.
Yeah,
you already know.
Yeah, so this
is that really what they're using it for in beer?
Yeah. I don't think it has any effect on fermentation process, but I could be wrong.
So I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I would assume that it's gotta ferment a little bit. Lactose. I mean, it is a sugar that can convert. So, but I'm sure. But anyway, yeah, I'm not a fermentation scientist. That is not my area.
Yeah. So
neither am I.
So this is very heavy on the lactose. You don't get as much as the graham cracker and chocolate out of it that we did before. The last time they made the s'mores variant, it was absolutely perfectly balanced. It was just tasted like a s'more in a glass. This is not quite that. This is more lactose front for me. So not as good as the previous s'mores variant. It's a Dragon's Milk, so I'll drink the fuck out of it. But like, yeah, it's oh yeah, that's right, Daniel. Sorry about that, my friend. I forgot about the sours with the lactose that they introduced. Lactose. Yeah, boo that, man. So, but anyway, this is good, just not as good as the previous s'mores variant that they had a few years ago. But cheers.
Cheers. Hey, Doug, I wonder if this lady won.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
We played her video the other week. And everybody was like, what the fuck is that?
She's the best. Shut up, y'all.
No, the best, Greg, was the lady who talked about the chicken wings and she was singing it in like a clothing store. That was the best video. I think that was the best video we ever played on this show. That shit was like, I don't like honey on my chicken wings. So dumb and so great.
Love the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings. Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the butter spread. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the butter spread. To get your butter spread all on me. I don't like the way it mixes with my mac and cheese. Cause when you're at KFC, You got that special sauce to stir my curiosity.
There's people like
Just give
shopping
me a
behind you.
5-piece meal. Oh, what a deal. A big old
Keyboard
box,
is
it's all
jamming.
for me. You know I'll take coleslaw on the side. I could tell you wanted to try the potato wedges.
What? What in 80s hell is this? That guy's jamming, dude.
Right.
She's on LSD or something. I don't know.
And that lady is giving off very much Blanche from the Golden Girls vibe.
100%.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce.
Rock your body home.
Get your honey sauce on me.
Reunion tour.
I don't like the way it mixes with my chicken wings. Get none of that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes on my chicken wings.
Oh,
Take us out, Moose.
Taste the biscuit.
stop.
How great was that? Like, just for pure, like, what the hell of that? Yes, we
I
did.
did DJ Khaled remix. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Yacht Rock took a weird turn.
I know.
Oh my
Yacht Rock took a weird turn. I love it.
Hey, Utah District 12, listen up right here. There's a new name on the ballot for the Senate this year.
All right, I'm looking that up now. Utah
Did
District
she win?
12.
Did she win?
I'm gonna look up Utah District 12. Let's see what.
Yes, Jeffrey, she's real.
What in marketing hell?
No, she did not. She did not. She did not win. She lost 57.6% to 42.4. So she will no longer be in our lexicon. So.
I'm sorry, but still, she had 42% of the vote.
It's Utah. What the hell? Like,
I mean,
Utah.
but can we just? Let's not. But can we? 42%.
What's great about that district? Would you care to guess how many votes were cast in that district?
In that district, let's say a total of 1,800.
No, it was more than that. It was
Okay.
it was about 18,000 out of a district, and it's a big district. It's like pretty big. It's like
Wow.
That to me is. Oh,
Zach's not wrong.
no.
Jeffrey, you gotta laugh. If you're not gonna laugh, I don't know.
I'm trying. This is
Just
a
her,
mess.
crazy fool.
And she's like getting shit. She's like really getting into it. Like, hey, listen, that looks ridiculous, but that woman just was like, "Fuck it, I'm going to go for it." It's like, in some ways, you just gotta give it to her that she was willing to just be completely ridiculous.
You remind me of
Right.
his name. The character's name is absolutely drawing a blank. Faramir from Lord of the Rings. That's your comment. Reminds me of Faramir in talking about the men of Haradrim, right? Gosh, it happens. I believe in the second book, but it happens also. Yeah, I think it's also in the second movie. But anyway, one of the bad guys is gunned down, and instead of saying he's an asshole, Faramir says he believed in his cause. I wonder what line he followed. So it's interesting to hear that. Right, they believe it.
It doesn't mean that I think I don't think she's a good person. I'm just saying.
I don't believe. I agree with you. I agree with you. By the way, because.
Listen, I know a good amount about old hip hop culture, and I would never in a million years try to do something like that.
Like she went full on like rap. Like that's just come on.
Listen, if you're a white person who wants to rap, you really, 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 really better bring it. And that wasn't it.
No, mm-mm.
Like you better be on Eminem level or some shit like that to bring that.
Yeah.
She deserved to lose. She deserved it.
I'm with you.
Look, just on this alone. That's it. Over. Like that
Also,
one little
if-
clip Jeffrey done.
If
I'm
you're
with
doing,
I
you.
don't need to hear it. It's over.
I don't need to
doing-
hear any more.
if you're doing like a pirouette
right.
around an American flag, I'm out.
Like,
Like if you're going to include it, if you're going to include an American flag in your video, period, I'm probably out. That sounds really weird, but I
Yes.
do not get the whole like super patriotic stuff. Like
me neither, dude.
And if I see someone who's got like a giant American flag,
Macklemore got a Grammy, and more like Macklemore got Granny.
yes, man.
This.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Preach with wife rapping. Oh,
Jesus is my, and it was two old white people rapping that. Yeah.
Where is this?
Oh, dude, please don't play it. I don't want to get flagged for hateful content. They were just super oblivious and thought it was great to say that Jesus is my, and they were like full chested about it, and I was like, holy shit.
wait, what?
Yeah, that's not something we should play on the show. We should play that in the after show because that way we don't get fucking pulled down off of YouTube. Like that's how bad that is.
Look,
No, we're not playing it. Oh no.
Oh,
Mandy,
goodness.
Mandy, send it. We can at least watch it. And Doug and I, for the record, we both approve content here. So if Doug says he doesn't want anything run, I won't run it, and he has the same respect for me. But I will run it in post production with Jeffrey.
I'm going to tell you, it is astonishingly like tone deaf. Like I'm telling you,
I mean, completely tone deaf. I mean, listen. It'd be one thing if I don't know. I don't even know if what I'm about to say will resonate. But I mean, like, it would be one thing if people actually recognize that Jesus was not white. Like, let's just start with that.
That would be helpful.
Right. I mean, that would be at least one first step, but I mean, absolutely not. Like,
right.
absolutely not.
These people would not take kindly to you saying that. Let's just say.
Oh, I'm absolutely. I mean, they don't have to take kindly to it. Archaeology says otherwise, and anthropology says otherwise.
Yeah, we answered that question, right, man.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But look.
No, I don't want to look anymore. God damn it!
No. But listen, though, like she's completely missing who her constituents are. Like you don't have to do all this for white people. You don't.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like if she was in a mixed district or there's some diversity, maybe she wants to show the people of color that she's cool. That wouldn't be a great way, trust me. But it'd be a little bit closer. But it'd be a little bit closer to her constituency and reading the room. She read the room completely wrong. These are white people. They don't need all this. They don't need all this for you to vote for. You can tell them that you're white and you're for white things without whatever the fuck this is. Know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Didn't we steal enough black music that we didn't need to do that?
I don't even like you calling it black music.
You know what I mean? Just like, didn't we appropriate enough music from other folks to like not do that?
Clearly not.
All right. We need a palate cleanser, okay? Right? We need to.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
If it's that video again, no.
No. How can I enjoy this one? you go.
That's white people music that is fucking perfect. That's exactly where it should be, right?
Right. I enjoyed it. Everybody enjoyed it. It's fun.
And they did it on a
Right.
bicycle, like crazy.
How the fuck do you do that? Because
Like
Very careful.
I'm a musician, so like that shit's hard.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Hey,
That's hard.
the guy playing the viola, was it the viola?
But
that he
you know, he
was
was playing a bass, stand-up bass.
But it's like,
Mhm.
and I'm like, how are you pedaling backwards? And yeah, that doesn't.
Mm-mm.
My brain
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to do that shit.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So, Doug, got something new going on here coming up this week.
Okay.
Talk about it a little bit. I don't even think you know about this,
I
but
I don't think I do.
no, I don't think anybody does because I haven't said shit. But we're gonna bring this out, and Jeffrey's the perfect guest for me to announce this. But unless I quit Twitter, I'm starting a new Twitter series. Um, Afrocentric soul food. Every every other Tuesday, Jeffrey, we're gonna be doing a Twitter space about
But I'm off
four.
Twitter, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have.
You don't have to sign up. You can actually do spaces without even having a Twitter account. You can.
Can you? I'm gonna have to talk
Yeah.
to you offline about that. I would love to hear how I can. Yeah, I'd love to
Yes,
hear how I
sir.
can be a part of that, or at least read.
Yeah, or you can listen in. We're going to talk about it's Black people talking about soul food, and our first one is this Tuesday, and we're going to talk about Jeffrey. We're going to talk about
Ooh.
Thanksgiving food.
There's some amazing,
Um,
amazing history, and there's a really awesome podcast called Anthro Chef, and they
okay.
do an entire podcast on the history of soul food and like the difference between soul food and southern food,
Mm,
and they are very different,
yep.
like very, very, very different. So yeah, I would absolutely love. Yeah, you, Greg, should absolutely listen to that podcast.
I will get on it this weekend for sure. But this is going to start on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central on Twitter. If you follow those people there, or at least me, you'll see it pop up, and you should be able to listen. We're going to have a beer historian. I'm going to be talking about the history of Thanksgiving with Black people and why Black people should absolutely celebrate Thanksgiving. There is a faction of people who don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving because of the origin and because it's white people
Mhm.
running over Indians and all that horrible shit. But I believe that you should own the holiday. You should make it your own, and that's kind of what the basis of it is. But it goes deeper than that. And Jeffrey,
We talked about this 2 years ago, by the way.
yep, and we're here. So I just want to
Like
say,
I
everybody,
vividly remember this conversation.
check,
Like
yeah, cool. Check us out on Tuesday for a Black perspective on Thanksgiving. We're going to be talking
fucking
recipes.
awesome, dude.
We're going to be talking history, everything about Thanksgiving. But we're going to go forward, and we're going to talk about and coming Tuesdays. We're going to talk. Sometimes we'll just narrow down to a dish. So sometimes it'll just be arguing over grit for 2 hours. But sometimes it'll be Black
Why not?
history. We're going to have part of the cast there. Doug is Darren. He's going to be in on the space. Black barbecuer. So we're going to talk about barbecue.
Oh, that's
It's going to
great.
be It's going to be fantastic. As long as Elon doesn't put up a paywall and make me leave Twitter. But until then, we're going to roll. But Jeffrey, talk about what Thanksgiving means to you, and just about the whole culture of
Yeah.
like people who don't want to celebrate it.
It's interesting because we
And
were literally talking about it tonight. Like, so the question came up is, why haven't we tried to dismantle this holiday? Like, so it's all gravy. Yeah, good on you. Like why haven't, the why hasn't the left tried to take this holiday away was sort of the crux of the question. And this is a holiday that truly conflicts me, right? The origins I
Mm,
think are pretty terrible.
yep.
And I think that they're typically myopically told and taught, most especially to white Americans, and they're not given a full narrative. So it's hard to really understand the breadth of what it was. So for me, I honor the history by at least teaching the true story or trying my best and my part to reconcile what that true story is, and typically keep it to a day of family. I mean, for me, it's always been about getting together. It's not always been about football and some of the other, I guess, more American traditions. But for me, it's strictly about connecting, putting my phone down. Typically, I mean, again, even though we're having a lighter year, Thanksgiving wise, food wise, it's always been about I'm going to break out my cream, my butter, my potatoes. I'm going to break everything out, like all the fixins. It's like I want my family together. I want them to eat good food because I think that there are some good morals that are trying to be taught through the story. I just think, of course, it's washed away what actually happened. So for me, that's what it's about. It's about family, and it's about not hiding away what the truth is.
Doug?
I think that's spot on. The idea of the family bit. Like I've been struggling a bit lately. I was talking to Joe about this. It was just like the origins are really fucking problematic. But like the idea of just hanging with your family and being able to enjoy food together, and the whole break bread thing, which is a Christian thing, which I'm not Christian, so whatever. But the idea of just being able to, spend time with your family to just have some food together. I mean,
Yeah,
how basic is that as a human connection point, right? Food is a connection point across all cultures, and
100%.
I kind of wish there was a way we could rebrand Thanksgiving. If that makes sense. Like one of our friends, one of our friends, Jeffrey, they don't do imperial beers. They do grand beers because they imperial has a very specific connotation. And she is just like, I don't want anything to do with that. So any beer that she makes through her brewery is always a grand instead of imperial version of whatever it is.
Understood.
And I kind of like that idea of like I've been trying to incorporate that when we talk about things. Like when Greg had the imperial IPA earlier, I was like the grand IPA, and I prefer that. Now, how do we maybe do that with Thanksgiving? I don't know. Like, you guys have any idea of how to kind of, I'm gonna say rebrand, maybe the wrong word, but maybe address it so it feels a little bit more appropriate. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it starts at school. Honestly, I think it starts by just teaching what happened and not exemplifying it. It's not glorifying, that there were wars fought, that there were cultures taken, that there were, you know, it, we just need to teach the truth, right, and own it. Oh my gosh.
I have a mustache, Zach. I don't have just a fucking beard.
I live in Mennonite country, which is hysterical.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, so Mennonites and Amish folks, they'll have this beard. They have a beard,
No mustache.
no mustache. That's not how it works.
It's not how it works. And I shop at a Mennonite farm stand
So you see it, right? It's
every
just
day.
like
Every
anything
day.
under the nose. It's just all.
Usually just straight up down. They don't ever have here.
Mm-hmm.
None of their beard wearers. None.
So, fuck you, Zach.
Wow.
And I grew up. You're not far. Like my Mennonite country area that I grew up is like so about an hour north of Harrisburg. So like
Yeah, absolutely.
that has a lot of Amish and Mennonite folks
Oh,
going down.
yes.
Even it goes all the way down into Lancaster, even closer over to Philly. Yeah.
I will say to answer your question, Doug, I think it is unfair. Maybe unfair is harsh. I think that the company in this session are the wrong people to really ask what a proper solution would be. I think that we need to be part of the solution, but I ultimately think that we really should check in with our Indigenous friends and folks that share in that heritage and honor that heritage to see what the best path forward would be. And not to look to them for the solution, but rather for all of us to be part of what is that solution, right? I'm not trying to ask. It's sort of like when people come to queer people, like, to explain things. Like, I'm not asking for the emotional burden. What I'm asking is I want to honor what your thoughts and feelings are. And instead of just, thinking of a solution, enacting a solution, and then saying, hey, we did this, saying, hey, let's all sit at the same table. Let's hear your perspective first, and then let's start to move forward. How can we have that conversation? So that would, after sitting and chewing, that would be, I think, and I can't remember who said it, like if they don't invite you to a table, fucking bring a folding chair, right? Instead, let's be smart about what that solution looks like, and
Mhm.
let's talk to our indigenous friends. Like there's this guy I follow, Lakota Man on Instagram, and hearing the indigenous perspective on modern events it's mind blowing.
Mhm.
It's so eye opening. So yeah, there's another one to follow. He's fucking great, fucking great, and like will sometimes make your skin crawl, especially with having gone through like the U.S. education system. So, and I think that that's an important feeling that we all have to endure and embrace. It's and not take it personally. It's not personal. Just because it's history doesn't mean that you were a part of it. It doesn't, right? With all the alt right talking points, they want to make white kids feel guilty for being white. No, they fucking don't.
I just
It's
want
not
you to
what
know
it's
what the truth
about.
is.
All right, and the truth is allowed to hurt. There's nothing wrong with feeling that emotion. Help people fucking navigate what that's like, right? Instead of trying to avoid feeling it. Like there's nothing wrong with it, right? Yes, it might make you feel uncomfortable, but fuck uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable just makes you grow more.
What do you think kids of color feel? BIPOC folks, like if they grew up feeling uncomfortable the entire fucking time. Like
Yeah,
Greg, I'm saying that, but you can speak to that far better than I can. But just the idea of like your life feels like, from an outside perspective, feels like that's how your day rolls every day. So why should I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm saying there, but it's really frustrating to hear. Well, white kids will feel, hey, fucking black kids got to be taught from when they're little to not fucking
right,
confront cops, otherwise they might be fucking dead.
right.
That's
And there
how.
was a meme. There was a meme that circulated a few years ago that really strung true. If a child is old enough to face racism, then your white child is old enough to learn about racism. Period. End of sentence. Done. Period. Done. There is no going beyond that. There is, and if that offends you, then you know something. You need to fucking check yourself. You need to check yourself. Because if that little black child is going to be made to feel any lesser because of the way they choose to have their hair, because of the way they say the word ask, or they are or forcing them to code switch or whatever it is that they wind up having to endure or face, and you think it's so bad, fuck you. Like, just stop. Because fucking pathetic.
And Zach makes another astute point.
Yeah. And but the difference is, or the key element here that I think really rings true is that we don't celebrate differences. We vilify differences. And that comes from a whole attitudinal change, right? And that's something that we see in this, xenophobic world, is that instead of celebrating differences and embracing what our differences are, we vilify them. And it's a shame, because different doesn't ever mean
I,
worse. Like, ever.
no, and we we would not be here if it wasn't for Doug and I's differences. That's the reason why I approached the motherfucker to do this. Because he wasn't a beer guy, because he was a white guy, because he likes scotch, because we come from kind of the same area, but we come from clearly different backgrounds. Um, and the dynamic between Doug and I would not be the same if me and him were a lot more alike. Now it might be a better show because
Might
I'm
be.
just saying that. But Doug, the thing that everybody says when people say they like us, they say that part of it is the dynamic between us and how we bring different things to the table, and how we also embrace the different things about us, Jeffrey. And we make ourselves stronger because we are fucking different. And this
Yeah.
motherfucker doesn't like top sheets. And it's a fucking problem. So
That means more
but we
top sheets for
embrace
you, buddy.
it. Yes. Not in this
Right?
house, bro.
No. No, I mean, but
but
let's think about that.
I
Like
mean,
we're
it's
taught from such an early
simple.
age that we should embrace our differences, but yet we categorically embrace putting people's differences into these boxes, whether it be an ableistic point of view and the way we're looking at people who have different abilities or handicaps, or however we choose. Like we're taught to put them into these boxes, and then we rate and rank these boxes, and it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Like we're all human. We can see it just in the way like the autistic community is treated as well, right? We vilify instead of opening up and trying to accept that there are different ways that our bodies are wired, right? We have this that it's well, we can go on a whole ass tangent there, but it's
Yeah, I have a whole thing to say on that too.
like I've had some great friends through this network, through this circle that have really helped open my eyes to that whole conversation. And it's like, if you don't know the hashtag actually autistic, go ahead, follow it, learn. Like it's an amazing hashtag. Like, don't use it if you're not autistic, please. But follow it. Like, look at that content. It's yeah. Anyway,
It's interesting too, just the idea of like, so if you are different, how you'll go through a lot of hoops to jump to try to make it seem like you aren't.
yeah.
Because the vilification you get if you are different is really difficult. And I'm going to talk about a very small bit. Mine's not even like, so I'm a white guy. I have a shit ton of privilege. I'm a straight white guy on top of it. But what I do have is I'm partially deaf. But what I do is I try to hide the shit out of that because I don't want people to look at me different. Because here's the thing, you could have poor eyesight, you have glasses and nobody bats an eye. You have hearing aids in, which I have
know it.
hearing aids, that people look at you completely fucking different than if you don't have good eyesight. It's the same it's the same thing. You have a deficiency in one thing, or just a difference in how your eyes work versus somebody else's. My ears work differently. My ears are not as receptive as others. So like, and it gets worse as you get older because naturally as you get older, shit gets worse. Like your body breaks down a bit slowly. And so I have hearing aids that are 8 years old that aren't good enough for me anymore. They don't meet the needs I have, but hearing aids
Right.
are incredibly expensive.
Yes, they are.
And so like glasses are expensive, but not on the level that fucking hearing aids are.
And aren't hearing aids not covered by insurance typically?
Almost never.
I mean, so
Almost
therein
never.
lies a major difference. I mean, glasses are
And
absolutely typically covered by most insurance plans.
Yeah. So maybe I did lose it at a Michael McDonald concert, but I've never seen Michael McDonald in concert. But I really wish I had, Zach. But it is something where that's a tiny window that I have. It's not the actual full experience of other folks. This is just my little window into looking into a disability thing, that where something that's considered a disability, that it's not a disability. You just do things different.
That's it.
Because like when I'm talking to somebody, even on video, you know what I'm doing when Jeffrey, you're talking? I'm looking at your fucking lips, because if I miss something in my headphones, I can connect dots that way.
Absolutely. I have friends that are hard of hearing and deaf, and they do the same thing.
And it's not something where it's just that's just how I cope. Like that's just a different way of me communicating. It's not that I'm wrong. It's not different if somebody is, I don't know, whether they're autistic or whether they're ADHD or whether they're, they didn't have use of their arm. It's a different, they just have a different approach. And
correct.
That's where differences are something we should embrace and be able to help those folks.
Problem is the meaning that we ascribe to words. I was just talking there's a whole concept at my kids' school called caught yas, right? And when you hear the phrase caught ya, most people assume automatically that it's a negative thing. Like, I caught you doing something bad, you got to go, have a consequence. Where what they're trying to teach is that certain language has meaning, but you can control that meaning as well. So anytime a kid is given a caught you card, it's typically when they're caught doing something good and it gets posted and shared, right? It's like if I say the smell of the flowers over there versus the odor of the flowers, right? Odor typically is malaligned with gross things, and when you talk about the smell or the aroma of something, right, you're talking about something that's more pleasant. Where in the food space, and Doug, both you and Greg know, right, you can talk about the odor of a beer and it doesn't mean it's bad at all. Odors are just smells. Anyway, so words. Are you muted, Greg? I think you're muted.
No, he just, oh, look, we can't hear you.
Nope.
Come on, Greg.
I had a feeling.
Give it the program. Nope. Still not anything. Bueller.
Bye.
All right, so maybe he's gonna fix shit. So yeah, I love having the conversations around things like maybe accessibility is the wrong word, but the idea of just being something where our society kind of embraces folks who just we all have differences. And the thing
Yeah,
is, even the
every
people
one of
that
us.
even the people that are like, well, I'm just normal. No, you have things that are different about you, whether you like it or not, or whether it's
Mhm.
something you embrace or it's something you hide. It's all, we all have differences. And here's the thing, the differences can be really great, and sometimes those differences are detrimental to you or how it works. If you are someone who has severe depression, that's detrimental to you.
Yeah.
And that may be different than someone like me who doesn't have depression. Doesn't mean I don't value you as a person. I want you to be able to be well and be part of what we're all doing as a collective
Absolutely.
society. And that's
Right.
something that I just wish, like when you look
We're
at
just not
something
good at
that,
accommodating. We're not good at accommodating those that don't fit into particular molds.
Mhm,
And we are adverse to change.
mhm.
And we also have this sort of like individualistic attitude where if we're changing something, well, then you're taking something away from me. It's like, that whole idea of like equal rights. It's not a pie. You don't get more, right?
Yeah,
It's like we just want to share for the same pie.
yeah. You die. Everybody dies, and you don't take any shit with you. So as much as you
Exactly.
amass, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. And it's
It
like
doesn't matter.
does it really take so much to generate or curate content for those that are hard of hearing and having subtitles and context titles? No, it doesn't take that much extra work. It
No.
takes thought though. It takes a lot of thought. And you do when you grow up in I hope I use the term correctly, when you grow up in an holistic society, right, where you don't understand what it means to be neurodivergent, it's really hard to start wrapping your brain around how do you create those
Neurodiversity.
spaces? What's that?
Neurodivergency is a whole thing that's like a fairly, I'm going to say fairly new avenue for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
So like being like I'm very neurotypical. My wife's neurodivergent, and there's a whole different way to communicate, like in the way those minds work versus how I communicate. So it's yeah, that's a really whole fascinating way to look at things.
I mean,
Doug,
is it a mold
I
that's at
can,
least clean and sanitary? I don't know, Zach. I mean, I'm struggling with this particular question. Does it have like the shape of
remember this,
teeth?
Doug?
Am I missing something?
it was a thing where we had the one person who reviewed a restaurant in New York City where they had like a mold of the chef's mouth and something was in it.
Oh goodness.
And it was like this
It
three
was a
Michelin,
Michelin.
like
It was a Michelin
Michelin
star.
star restaurant, and it was like this thing where like the food was like, here's this little pebble of stuff. Try this, and it was like
Oh.
but it was a 7-course meal that wouldn't have fed anybody.
I mean, listen, if it's as long as it's not like out of somebody's mouth, because I don't know that I would be bold enough to do that.
It
I
looked
mean,
really bad, though. It was really bad.
yeah, I don't. I mean,
But Zach's is bringing up old shit.
Exactly.
Right? He's just bringing up old shit.
that's all good. It's all good.
It is. It is. It is. Well, I guess it's time to double back on Thanksgiving here, Doug, before we bid Jeffrey farewell. But we're gonna have to bring him back because this was
Yeah,
supposed to be.
not just for Thanksgiving. We need to have him back before that.
Well, I was gonna say this is because he needs to come back with. We need that synergy with Renee and him.
Yeah.
I was really
So-
sad that she wasn't going to be here tonight. Of course, I understand that shit happens.
Yeah.
For
But-
shit. For sure.
I mean, but I'll tell
Sure.
you something. Since I met her last year on this particular episode,
Yes.
she and I have gotten to connect through nails, through Instagram, and through Facebook too, through Messenger. And I got to tell you, she's an amazing person.
Yeah.
Like,
I
We
I have
already
to give her-
know, but yes.
I know y'all know, but I just I see the content that she posts, and I mean, of course, I'm going to like her more because our content typically aligns, our thought processes align. But like, it's just wholesome goodness, and I fucking love it.
And Jeffrey, I'm not sure if you know about this, but Doug, it's time to plug this shit because you already did your first one. Jeffrey, I'm not sure if you know about this. You probably do. But
The Cult Bar.
Doug,
yeah, this is Renee and I's project. Every first Wednesday of every month, we talk about a particular cult. And so Renee and I just go all in Thanks, Daniel, for that prompt. So basically, we go at like the first episode, we did something that was called Sins of Our Mother, which was this woman who her fifth husband and her allegedly killed two of her kids, her ex-husband, her husband's dead wife.
Ooh.
Like it's crazy. And she was made a doomsday. She was called the Doomsday Mom. She made a whole like small cult with her husband, based on the idea that the world was going to end, and based on the LDS Church. And Renee was raised Mormon, so she has a very distinct view of how this all worked.
Yes.
And we are, Greg. Can I talk about the first Friday of December?
Of course.
So we're going to do a takeover of this show where Renee and I do a Cult Bar episode on Brothers and Booze. And what we are going to talk about on that show is NXIVM. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with NXIVM, but it was a sex trafficking cult. And we're going to do, it is the first, so that Friday, Renee and I are going to go, so there's a show called The Vow on HBO Max, which goes, the first season is all about how all that breaks down and how the leader of the cult eventually gets arrested. The second season, neither of us have watched, but the following Wednesday after that Friday show, we're going to do the second season. We're going to do the first season on Friday, and we're going to do the second season on Wednesday. So it's just us exploring cults. It's super fun.
And you can find first episode out there on the Cult Bar YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, my I believe it's on my Daddy Porter page, so you can find it, Jeffrey. It's already out there. Doug will probably be able to slip you a link. So there's already one out there. On, like Doug said real quick, on December 2nd, the Cult Bar is going to be taking over Brothers and Booze. So for the first part, it'll be Doug and Renee, and then I'll jump in at some point and tell them that they're crazy for doing this shit. And then then the following Wednesday is the follow up. So there'll be 3 shows within a month now. So it's going to be cool.
Cool.
Renee is fun and awesome, as you already know. Knowledgeable in this area because she was in a cult herself. So it's really interesting. They drink and they talk shit on cults, and it's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is. So we got to get a plug in for that. We had JHG settle down, JHG.
For those that care, I just got a push notification that Mark Kelly is officially was announced the winner.
Yes,
Mark Kelly.
Go on,
Doug.
Sorry.
Now we just have to get Bobert to fucking lose.
One more.
Well, and maybe Mark Kelly can stop sending me fucking texts. That'd be great, Mark Kelly. Because I'm
getting all of them from Raphael Warnock. That's who I'm getting.
Because
Warnock is
I donated to.
I feel like I'm getting text.
Well, I donated to Kelly the first time he ran because I actually thought he needed it. This time I did not because I didn't think he needed it. With all due respect, I sent my money to Mandela Barnes, who ended up needing it. But Mandela Barnes is in a super racist state. So Mandela Barnes did not win for that reason. I don't care what any of y'all say. Because what I know is that every statewide Democrat in this fucking state, Jeffrey, won besides who? Oh, that would be Mandela Barnes.
The only black
guy, right. And Tony Evers and Mandela. You know who Mandela Barnes was before he ran for Senate? He was the lieutenant governor. With who? Oh, that would be Tony Evers. So Tony Evers won, and Mandela Barnes, who lost, have no differences, Doug. 0 besides one thing. One thing. They are the exact same person without, of course. So yeah. That's, people blame it on, well, Mandela Barnes brought Bernie Sanders in. That may have not helped or not. I don't know. But I know what didn't help was his skin color. So anyway, Mark Kelly, I love Mark Kelly. I love that he's an astronaut. I love that he's a scientist. The
He's
Congress
married to
needs,
Gabby Giffords.
yes, but the
He's married to
Congress
Gabby
needs
Giffords.
more. The Congress needs more science and less bullshit. So that's why Mark Kelly's great. And then that also means that the Democrats are going to hold the Senate. So hopefully, I'm not trying to say people should die, but hopefully when Clarence Thomas rolls on to his next life, we will definitely have somebody to replace him, because we owe y'all motherfuckers one for this Amy Coney Barrett person. I'm restraining myself. That replaced RPG Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So we're going to get one with eventually Clarence, in my opinion. And we'll hopefully we can replace him with a black female. Well, he's the oldest one, so that's where I'm going. Alito, Clarence Thomas, whatever. They're all old. Someone's going to have to. Someone listen. They're right, but time. Listen. The Grim Reaper comes for everybody. Time comes for everybody at some point. So I don't know, and maybe Joe Biden's second term, which none of y'all want to hear about, but it's probably going to happen because we're probably going to get. So? Well, we're going to get Trump again, I think, and unless we get some indictments and some crazy shit.
Trump or DeSantis.
I am.
You really think we're going to get Trump or DeSantis? Truly?
Oh yeah. As a person running against Biden, yes.
Let me finish my thing, and I was going to say that, like, actually, I think Trump is a lot less dangerous than DeSantis is, and that's why I'm actually rooting for Trump, not DeSantis. I don't think Trump could ever get elected again. And look at all his losses. He took losses this time. He takes losses. He's not going. The Republicans are going to put him up, but he's just not going to win again. I just don't see it. I just don't. It's just, again, people say, well, you didn't see it the first time. Well, I saw it the second time, motherfuckers. I told you that he wasn't going to get reelected, and he did it. And then in between, then he's lost so many different times. DeSantis scares me more because he's just more palatable, and he's less asshole-ish as Trump, but he's worse.
He's a giant asshole.
No, but he's less asshole-ish as Trump as far as being bombastic, and that turns some white people off. White people like. Well, let me finish. White people like to be goaded into, oh, he's not that racist, and Ron DeSantis fits that. I think a lot of white people got turned off by Trump's blunt force racism. Like, they like when the racism is disguised. Does that make sense, Jeffrey? Where it's like, oh, he's not that racist, so I can vote for him. Trump does not leave that open, where DeSantis leaves it open. Is DeSantis as evil, if not more than Trump? Probably, but he plays the game better than Trump, and that scares the fuck out of me more than Trump. Thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead, Jeffrey. Sorry, you first.
No, you had other thoughts. You had thoughts during. Yeah, please go.
No,
I don't know why we're at DeSantis and Trump, but here we are. Let's go.
No, I'm gonna say DeSantis does not have the charisma or the ability to really go on the national front. He's fine in Florida.
I hope.
I hope. Trump incites people. DeSantis does not. Like, I hope. And I don't mean that people don't vote for DeSantis. He just won his election by like 20 fucking points. But it's Florida. Right. Florida's a fucking goddamn cesspool.
So I was just down in Florida earlier this week.
I got it, but like, yeah. That's a sign of strength. These Republican white people see that as a sign of strength.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
DeSantis frightens me more than Trump, but
right. It should.
It's the difference between. Now, granted, I'm speaking as an outsider, but as an outsider to racism and somebody that has watched other people experience it and tried to fight through it, it's the difference between like northern racism and southern racism. Like, do you want the overt racism or do you want the covert racism? And most people, I think, would prefer the overt racism, which is where you're coming from. You know the devil you're getting. Where DeSantis, I do believe, knows how to play the game, similar to like the danger behind Pence.
Better than Trump.
Right. And I think that not only is it better than Trump because they've played the political wagon their whole life, Ron he's less than filth. I hate to say it. But like hearing him talk about anything that's not Christian and white, it's gross. Like And unfortunately, the term that you use best, Greg, is that it's palatable.
Yes.
He chooses the right
Yes.
paint over his language.
Yes.
And
Yes.
people are able to see through it. And it's sort of like when someone says, from the South, oh, bless your heart, you know what they're talking about. Like, unless you're that naive. Like, that's DeSantis.
Right. You're saying fuck you, basically. Right. And
No,
Ron Johnson is that. He's the same. He's all of what Trump is, but again, he's more palatable than Trump is. He is. It's a fact. Again, is he a piece? Yes, all that. And then again, that's what makes me furious about the whole Mandela Barnes situation, where it just makes me furious. It really does. Because again,
I feel you.
Tim Michaels is the same thing as Ron Johnson. They're the same thing. I don't know if you know who Tim Michaels is. He was the Republican going up against Tony Evers, and it's the same thing. He's the same person as Ron Johnson. He literally is a carbon white copy of him. But we picked one and one lost. Well, how is that? And also, don't get me started on Georgia. Y'all motherfuckers don't even get me started. So again, if Herschel were right, Warnock would be lost. Period. But the fact that they had to pick between a smart, literally godly, not godly, I don't mean godly, God-fearing, literally he's a real religious person. He believes in what he stands by. He's done it forever. He's a good man. Y'all haven't been able to dig up any dirt on him. He's smart. He's everything you want as a senator. Then you have Mr. Complete Degenerate. And the only reason why Herschel didn't win is because he's black. And if he was white, he would have won already. And then don't get me started on y'all wanting white supremacy over Stacey Abrams, who's easily one of the best politicians in this country. She's a smart, wonderful, great woman.
Honestly,
but being a black woman,
she needs to be in the presidency.
Again, being a black woman, it's just going to be a rougher road for her, especially in a place like Georgia. Now, if she would ran anywhere else, she would have been great. But and it's funny too because I'm glad I'm not seeing this false narrative though, Jeffrey, of because what happens is, especially in the black community, everybody's like, well, if 4% more black men voted for Stacey, she would have won. You know what, motherfucker? It's not on us. 85% of black men voted for her. 90%. How about white women? Mm-mm. How about white women? Where were the white women? Where are the white men? They always get a scapegoat. They always get a buy. And then it's always like whether the black people supported the black people or not. Listen, we supported 85 to 90%. Stop it. That is as big. White people y'all don't even come to 50% on anybody.
Oh no, you're not gonna be able to read that, are you?
So what the fuck?
Great. Okay, you're not gonna be able to see it. So I'm gonna read you what I wrote for the day after Election Day. I say today Americans should thank black voters for again saving us. They don't have to, but they do every time.
Mm-hmm.
There are two groups of people this year, and as more statistics come out, we need to be thanking black Americans again. And we also need to be thanking Gen Z for showing up.
Yep.
Because Gen Z did something that hasn't been done in a generation. They turned it up. And I don't say that lightly. Right? Gen Z gets a real bad rap, but I'll tell you something. They showed up at the polls. They are ready. And if anything, for a fucking midterm, listen, I don't know. I mean, I know why black Americans continue to vote the way they do, but it's like, I hate that they're the ones constantly wiping the asses of white people trying to clean up their goddamn shitty messes. And it's just it's terrible. It's terrible. Fuck. And I get raked over the coals all the time for the way that I speak about it. But look at the statistics. Look at the demographics of each of these elections.
Oh, fuck. So, Doug, you wanted to say something about Ron DeSantis and Trump, and I went on a little tirade there. So, what do you got, buddy?
I just want to say that he's not as brilliant as people want to think he is. He's not the calculating one. The person
who's DeSantis, you mean, when you say he?
Just
Who are you
saying,
talking about? Okay, cool. Just
it's
want to make
his
sure.
wife. His wife. White
Oh,
woman is the one that runs all that shit. She's the one that pulls all that shit. I'm telling you, she's the driving force. I've read multiple articles about how she's the one that wants to push the agenda that he has. And there's a whole thing where where when he was a teacher, DeSantis was a teacher at one point.
That's scary.
And that's
teacher
scary.
of what?
And you know what? The thing was, it's like he would show up
What?
at high school parties as a 30-year-old teacher to hang out with the partiers. This is not me making shit up. This is a documented thing. So all that projection, oh, the Democrats are pedophiles, blah, 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 blah. I didn't say women are the problem. White women are the problem.
Yes.
Not all white women, hashtag whatever you want to say. But I'm saying like
Don't even
60%
add that
though.
in. Don't add that in.
60%.
But the thing is it is, I think it was like white women voted overwhelmingly for
60%.
conservative politicians, more so than white men, which is
60%. Wow.
which is saying some shit. If that white straight men are a fucking giant fucking problem, and white women are just as bad, if not worse. And you would think that considering like Roe v. Wade was overturned, and yeah, you think Roe v. Wade, and that was always that. But the thing is, like for people who weren't like goddamn steeped in the whole conservative shit, that was the big issue for them was Roe v. Wade, and like having that being overturned. So the white women who did not vote for conservatism, that was a driving force for them. Okay, but let's be honest. If you're a conservative white woman and you need an abortion, you can get an abortion, and it doesn't matter.
Absolutely, you can.
You can pay for it. The people
You
that
can
don't
cross state lines. You have access.
you have access, you have money, you have all that.
Like let's just do
This can go deep. Sorry.
Yeah,
And we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes almost, and it just can keep going. Like, yeah.
Finish your thought, man.
I
Make
just
sure your thought's finished.
I just want people to see it, and we know that Democratic policies on the whole are very popular. Very popular. Like over 60% popular, almost all of them.
every one of them.
And you think about how the fuck is that not what's driving this? And here's why. Republicans are good at playing the game of making people feel terrified of shit. They're really good at it. It's a skill they have. They make everybody feel afraid of the other. How do I get votes? Let's make them afraid of the other people. They don't have solutions. What they have is the ability to make other people afraid. And they will just pound the shit out of that. And they're good at it. And white people are afraid of every fucking thing because they're afraid of losing power. They're afraid of not having a voice. They're afraid of not being able to share power and policy with other people. They're afraid of every fucking thing.
Because they're gonna lose their American dream. If you work hard, you're gonna make it big and strike it rich. I mean, come on, you're going to shatter every single childhood dream from 1970 to go back even to 1960s, right? The core curriculum, America first, America's greatest, come to America. You're going to make your American dream come true, right? All these things that were, but the reality is how many people actually get to live an American dream? How many people become? Not many. It's not a dream, right? It's a narrative that was forced down so many of our throats. And it's just like, can you stop it? Like, yeah, I've since last year, it's definitely been a year of growth for me there.
And yeah, I have something here real quick while we're here. I'm gonna show it here because I think it's fun, but and it's applicable, and then we will wrap this up and go to post-production. But yeah, Doug, I thought this was fun. You had your chance with the Republican House and Senate. You handed your domestic policy to your son-in-law and Gary Cohn. You handed the foreign policy to your son-in-law and the country that gave your son-in-law $2 billion. Shut the fuck up forever. I think it's pretty fun. Let them eat
having
themselves.
having
Let them
Ann
eat.
Coulter say that shit. Holy shit! Wow.
So y'all can go over there and eat your own, and your own popcorn. I love it. Shut the fuck up forever. And remember, Ann Coulter was one of the first people that backed Trump. She was one of the first. So
Mhm.
um so she's a piece of shit for that. We got it. But at the same time, it's funny how now she's turned because now she's a DeSantis fool, if y'all are keeping score here. So she sees those polls that I saw this morning that basically say that Trump's gonna just win again. And that's where Republican people apparently are. So this is her strike to
What do we call
them.
that? She's conservative dick whipped.
Yeah, this is her strike, man. So like you can tell that she's scared about Trump again, in my opinion. That's what that shows. More than anything. Or otherwise you would ignore him. You don't go out and like, hit someone like that if you're not afraid of him. Or you're
Really?
not, you know,
Or
again.
does it strengthen her position, with the way that she's touting DeSantis?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But
That's I mean,
I think it's a shot at Trump. I mean, it's a clear shot at Trump. But I think she's showing that. Look, I used to back this guy, and now I'm off of him. And y'all
yeah,
should be off of him too. That's what she's trying
that's
to
all
do.
she's trying to say.
And and that's because she believes with me, which is DeSantis is more of a threat to Biden than I believe Trump is. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
Biden.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, again, another reason why I want Trump is so that there's no age issue thing, because with DeSantis there will be an age issue thing. Obviously, he's young and Joe is old, but if it's Trump, then they're both old. So stop with the ages and shit, because that's what they're gonna go with. He's old, he's senile. They're gonna do
Yeah,
this.
Trump is almost as old as Biden is. It's like
Yeah,
literally
I
2
think
year
he's
difference.
older. I thought he was older.
Yeah, I think they're both roughly the same age. I mean,
Right,
literally
right.
with each other.
I thought Trump was older, but it doesn't really matter. The point is that they're both fucking old, right? And Trump has less facilities than fucking
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you say. I really don't care because that's their line is
Does he have
Biden
any
is old and
facilities?
there's enough facilities and then Trump's going to pick some token black person, and it's just not. This is another thing that like Republicans don't understand. Like black people see through this shit. Like we see through it. We see. Listen, there's a segment of black.
But you know
There's
who
a
doesn't?
black
You know who doesn't? White
people.
conservative.
But again,
They're
right,
like, oh,
right.
they can put black. Oh,
But
I mean,
again,
come
though, Doug,
on, come on.
We're
And
back to
Clarence
what
Thomas.
Doug, we're back to what I'm saying about how white people want this gaze of, oh, he's not. They want, again, they want a palatable racism. They don't want like a guy. Again, a lot of mainstream white people don't want this in your face racism. They're turned off by it.
Mm-hmm.
So then, if even if it's Candace Owens, which would be completely retarded, like there'll be a certain segment of white people who are like, okay, well, see, he's not racist. He picked up black. He's not racist. He has Amoroso. He's not racist. Listen, he's not sexist. Look at all the women that he has around him, like his daughter. Look at Jeffrey, like fucking. I can't even. Listen, man. I live in Wisconsin, so I see this. Oh yeah, here we go. Right. Diamond and Silk, correct. See, he paid money to Diamond and Silk. Right. They're already on the shit show now about Biden. Yes, JC, and it's only going to get worse. And if it's DeSantis, he's young, and people will be like, "Well, he's young." Well, he's a fucking moron. He's a fucking moron. So young, old, middle age, I don't give a fuck. He's going to be an asshole. Right. He's a fucking asshole. Right. Yeah, they choose black person. So why should they say, see, you're not a racist? This one get right.
Yep.
So it's probably going to be Tim Scott, who's a useless piece of shit, in my opinion. And yeah, we'll go from there. Hey, maybe it'll be Herschel Walker. So then, so if Trump wins, then Herschel Walker will have the nuclear codes, isn't that?
That just sounds awesome. Hey, but before we cut this off, You did see who Trump is kind of floating as his running mate, right?
No, who is it?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That
I
that would
shit you fucking not. That's a person he has talked about making.
that would be amazing. See, again, this is why I want Trump. I want it to be like out. Listen, I know Jeffrey, because Jeffrey's like, you want him like one step to the. No, I don't want him one step to the presidency. No, but like to me, that's easy. We can swat that shit away easier than.
And let's be honest. Let's see a debate between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kamala Harris. That would be a bloodbath. A bloodbath.
Kamala Harris would eat anybody in a debate, but she would. That would. Yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
And Jeffrey, we saw real quick on that note.
Please, you're good.
Right. Your state was an interesting state.
Don't even. This year would have been the year if it didn't go the way that it did. That I would have said we're fucking out. We're out.
But y'all redeemed yourself as a state, and I'm pretty proud of Pennsylvania. To be
am so
about
proud
the way
of
that y'all responded
actions.
to all that shit. Y'all
I'll
flipped
tell
the
you.
house. Y'all,
Yeah, we flipped the house. We did great. We got rid of
despite
Oz.
all the bullshit with Oz. But here's I want to make a note real quick, Doug, and then I'll get to you for sure. I want to make a quick note about the Fetterman Oz debate, where Fetterman came in. I didn't actually see a thing of that, but what I do remember was that it felt like there was more backlash about Oz being a fucking asshole to Fetterman than it was to Fetterman being, for lack of a better word, impaired.
Yeah.
Because of his health and stuff like that. And I think
as a doctor,
Oz,
he should be fucking ashamed of himself.
Oz,
as a doctor,
right.
He should be like it's such a visceral response for me. Like the way that, as a doctor, he's do no harm and
right,
like, literally.
But I think that was one debate where Oz really came off hard, and he really lost a lot of points there. It clearly did not help him gain anything on Fetterman, because he lost kind of big, actually, after it kind of tightened and everybody was worried about it and all that shit. And when I mean by everybody, I mean people who are smart were worried about Oz getting anywhere near anything and thing. But I think that was really where, that was one of the ones where it showed humanity, where y'all in Pennsylvania showed your humanity, because you were like, look, he had a stroke. He was running for president. I mean, he was running for Senate. He had a stroke. He's still the same guy before and after the stroke. So we're just voting on values, and we're just voting on what he's going to do when he gets there. This guy's a fucking idiot. But Oz did not show any grace by attacking his health at all, and I think he lost major points. What were you going to say, Doug? About Oz and Fetterman? Or Pennsylvania, too.
All right, so I have a bit of a special place in my heart for Fetterman for this reason. I'm not a person who's ever going to go into politics, ever. I follow politics. I'm really active in it. But so, I had a heart attack last year. My brother 2 years ago had a debilitating stroke.
Yeah, good. Yep.
I've seen what strokes do to people. And Fetterman went out to debate Oz, knowing that was going to not do well for him. Mm-hmm. He knew people would just chastise him and talk about how he's not fit. And he went out and he did it. And he has not been a person who has shied away from stepping up and saying, this is who I am. This is how I do shit. This is how I think. This is how I feel. These are my policies. Oz put no fucking policies. None.
Never put a policy out there.
All he said was, I'm not liberal. That was his policy. I'm not
all
liberal.
Fucking smoke is all.
Good luck with that. Wow.
And the idea that he won, knowing that people said, well, yeah, he had a stroke, but like my parents who live in Trumpistan in the middle of Pennsylvania were like, fucking fuck Oz. What the fuck? Like they were just like baffled that guy would even run. And so they were like, we're voting for Fetterman. And my parents
really?
My parents voted for Fetterman. They voted for Josh Shapiro. Like my parents are like, they're not liberals by any stretch. They're very much moderates. And Casey, thank you for joining. Even if it was
sorry to cut you off, Doug.
Goddamn, I miss Casey.
I know,
Anyway,
right?
but anyway, it's interesting to see, like, seeing that Mastriano guy was scarier than fucking
Then fuck.
Oz by a mile.
I couldn't. And
he said, but if he said, when I'm governor, Republicans won't lose any time. Like, he was like, whatever the votes, fuck that. I'm making it Republicans.
what I remember most, to be truly honest, is I was working an event up in the Allentown area. It was a trade show type event, and Mastriano had a booth and
Whatever would have been like.
Well, I was there for work, right? And as an executive, as an executive in the company, I have to maintain a certain level of decorum, I guess, that I can't do in public. But I had to walk by the booth at one point, and I'm proud to say that in such an area as Allentown, there were people standing outside his booth giving him a run for his money, and it was deplorable. I am so happy that he lost. I am so happy that he lost the way he did.
And I think the bigger thing for Pennsylvania isn't even those two. It's the fact that you guys flipped the House. And because here's the thing, if it would go to another thing where Trump was in and they could flip the fucking votes and the GOP was in charge. Same with, I think, Michigan flipped their House. Like, I don't know if Wisconsin did, but like, that's a shame because Michigan and Pennsylvania are big stakes in those things.
Yeah.
And if Republicans were in charge of the House of that, they would have completely fucked up any national election coming up. Completely fucked it up. So I'm glad those two did. I wish Wisconsin would have, but
Evers is a firewall, so we don't have super. Well, actually, what we did stave off, Doug, is super majorities.
Super majority.
So
you need that.
That's good. We staved off that shit. But Scott Walker.
Wanker's a good name from that fuckwad.
Right. He was the governor before Evers, and he gerrymandered the fuck out of this shit. So at least Evers is a firewall to any kind of fucking nonsense that these people are trying. And he's been for 4 years, and now he's going to do it another 4 years. So fuck you, Wisconsin GOP. Y'all deserve that because y'all don't have any kind of policies. Y'all haven't pumped out any policies. All y'all is just like no to Evers. And Evers is one of the nicest fucking old white men that you could literally ever meet in your whole life. And they tried to make him a devil, and it didn't work. And at least Wisconsin people saw through that shit. And our Tim Michaels was the same thing, Doug. He said that if I win governor, we're never going to lose any more elections here.
Yep.
Oh, that's just great. Like, that's just great for democracy and what people really want. And that's just wonderful. But he got denied, so it was cool. And good for Tony Evers. He's a really good guy. And I don't really say that much about politicians, but you can tell this guy really cares. He's a really good guy. So that's cool. And I feel that way about Shapiro. And I also feel that way about Fetterman. I feel that they're real people who are in touch with, they're more in touch with people like Jeffrey than they are not. And I feel good about that. Shapiro, if y'all remember, he was a big fighter against any kind of bullshit going on with the fucking Philly. He's from Philly. He was real big supporter. He was in people's faces about the election. I don't know if you remember, Doug. He was literally in Donald Trump's face during the fucking in the GOP's face, like, fuck you. Our fucking, our voting shit is good. We're doing what we can. You know what I mean? Like, he was just he's really good. So I am proud of Pennsylvania I was born there. I'm proud of the way they are now an open place for me. I feel like almost a safe place. Also, Doug, the other place that you're thinking about, Doug, I believe is Minnesota, who flipped their Senate and kept
Michigan did as well. Michigan flipped their whole Senate and
Michigan
House over
too,
because that's the first time that happened since 1983.
Yeah, and Michigan also codified, I believe, abortion access and rights.
Yep.
Cool.
Into their constitution.
I'm just saying you thought it was Wisconsin, but if you skip Wisconsin and go over to Minnesota, that's where they actually did flip one, and then they solidified. They have the trifecta there, so we can see. We will see, Jeffrey. I'm pretty sure because the governor already said it. We will see recreational weed in Minnesota. So, cheers to that. Let it spread. Wisconsin's going to be the last holdout because We're just going to be, and that's just who we are.
They just think
and-
drinking your face off is better in Wisconsin. That's just what they do there.
Yeah,
That and cheese.
But all I have to do is drive an hour kind of each way, and I can get my legal weed. So it's just a shame that Wisconsin won't be smart enough to take advantage of that, and smart enough, because we need the money for our schools, we need the money for our infrastructure. Like, it's going to go everywhere else, but y'all crazy, and that's fine. I love visiting Minneapolis. It's one of my favorite places to visit. I just got back from Chicago. It's one of my favorite places to visit. I just told Doug on the stream that me and him should meet in New Holland, Michigan. So I'm cool. I'll take all of my dollars. I'll take all of my dollars elsewhere. Yes, it is. And I'll take all of my motherfucking weed money there. And y'all motherfuckers can just wait. So all of my weed money.
I go to Michigan once a year for work. So I can make that work.
Let's go. Pack up Jill. Let's go. I'll meet you. Me and the family will meet you. We'll have a fucking great thing. We can get an Airbnb. Jill and the lady, Jill and Michelle can meet. It'll just be great. Let's do this. Doug already met my family, so we just got to get Jill has to meet my family, but Doug already did. Hung out our weekend. Everybody loved you. It's just great. So again, I'm sorry, Wisconsin, you're just not going to get that money, and that's just on you. So it ain't on me. Tony Evers wants to do it, but y'all stupid. So I don't know what else to say. That's it. I can't do anything more. But it really does make me think about. We're talking about. I don't know. You want to talk about this on the live stream, but we're going to talk about it. Fuck it. We're here. We're talking about getting another. As the kids get older, and this house gets paid off. We're talking about buying another house in another location, in another state. And it won't be in Wisconsin, because why would we buy another place here when y'all just as racist as fucking ever can be? You're all annoying. And yes, America is a racist nation, but there are places that are clearly blue, that do blue things, that have blue ideas. And even New York State is better in opening. And yes, y'all had a massacre kind of a little bit.
Well, y'all got work to do. That was thanks to our previous governor. That motherfucker let the fucking door open for the GOP to fucking gerrymander the fuck out of our state. So,
well, right, but yeah. So yeah, we're looking for other places to get another property and expand our houses. Not only reach, but just a different place to live. And I don't know. I'm starting a national nonprofit, Jeffrey. I don't know if you know this, but we can talk about that after. But that kind of solidified this week. I don't even know if you know the latest details, Doug. But
I do.
And Wisconsin's one of the easiest places to run a nonprofit. I don't know if y'all know this. So I'll probably always have my address here or something like that. But it would be cool as hell to maybe move to Colorado or someplace that has legal ass weed, Jeffrey, and has more, it's more blue, And it's funny because Pennsylvania was never a place. It's not going to happen, but Pennsylvania, I consider back to being blue for the most part now. I think y'all had a bump.
2 election cycles. Let's get 2 more election cycles under, and I'll
y'all
agree with you.
But y'all had a bump though, and the bump was Trump. But in between those bumps, I mean, Pennsylvania was kind of bluish, right?
We rebounded. It took us a bit. It took us a bit. I'm most proud of. What is it? I'm most proud of Michigan, to be really honest. And I think I have a personal stake there because one of my closest friends in the activist community single-handedly, her and her team really led like that ballot initiative to get Roe v. Wade codified. And like,
nice.
I am just so, I couldn't be more fucking proud of Gina and what she did. And yeah.
And one last thing too, I want to say, because I don't see it on the media and I'm sick of it. Everybody's running around screaming about how DeSantis is a superstar. DeSantis. Well, it's funny because no one's talking about. Shut up, Doug. You're fucking running over my fucking points. Gretchen Whitmer is more of a superstar, if not worse. And she's been through some shit with COVID and people trying to kill her and all kinds of crazy shit. And y'all just don't want to put her up there with DeSantis because DeSantis is a white man. And you're not going to put a woman or try to elevate a woman, but she is the superstar. Everybody talks about Gavin Newsom. Nice, Gavin's fine, but Gretchen has more balls than Gavin, and I'm not trying to even be like,
Yep.
I'm not even trying to be like, it's with all due respect to Gavin, California is kind of a solid place for you to be a blue person. Michigan is not. Michigan is yes, it has its big parts. Michigan has turned that shit around. She's a superstar. I said it 2 years ago. I'm saying it now. She deserves more press than fucking Ron DeSantis should ever get. I don't give a fuck about Florida. Michigan is a firewall. Florida's lost to Democrats. Lost. Bye. I don't actually
Stop
expect
spending money there. Stop spending money there,
I
Democrats.
expect
Stop spending money
yes.
in Texas and Florida. Fuck
I
them.
expect Texas to turn more than Texas will turn before Florida will at this point. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but we had a chance. Beto
and-
was the guy that should have turned Texas, and they voted for no, but they voted for the fucking dude who won't turn the power grid over. And who
no,
fucking hates
but
people.
I think Texas is another. I think it's another couple election cycles.
I
I think
agree.
it's. So I don't think it's Beto's fault at all. Actually, I just think it's another election cycle.
Yeah, and I do agree that I think Florida's completely lost.
It's the Hispanic part of it. And Hispanics are more conservative than we ever really calculate for. And then
agreed.
the rise, right. And then the rise of those populations in those two states are going to keep it where it is for a couple more cycles, is what I personally think. So and we got to talk about we got to talk to Hispanics about being conservative, because first of all, and this is my last thing, and then we'll go on. Republicans aren't conservative, guys. So let me tell you that Republicans aren't conservative. So y'all can be conservative in your views and have them, and I respect that. But I don't respect you voting for Republicans because they're not conservative. They're not. And I'm not saying liberal, maybe the progressive people are too far for you. I got that. But these Republicans are not conservatives. So don't reevaluate that, y'all. Just look at it every time y'all do it. I'm not saying you're dumb for the way you voted. I'm not saying any of that shit. I'm just saying they're not conservative.
Mm-hmm.
They've moved on from being that. They used to be what, George Bush the compassionate conservative and all that bullshit, whatever the fuck that means. But anyway, Doug, you wanted to talk about TV?
Yeah, real quick, if we don't mind.
I know Jeffrey loves being with us, so he don't care if we go long.
Yeah. So what I'm going to talk about is something I watched with my wife today. All right, I'm trying to find the actual.
I got a question for Jeffrey then.
All right, no, here I have it. So this is.
This is probably silliness.
No. They did Naked and Afraid in frozen tundra. Listen, I don't listen. Naked and Afraid don't think so. People are naked and they're fucking trying to survive. Whatever. People tried to survive naked for fucking.
I like this show. I like this show.
Great. But the XL is like they threw them in Montana in the middle of winter. This is what the people fucking wear. They have no clothes. Like they gave them some pelts to figure out how to fucking bundle up a little. It's 34 degrees with a wind chill where it's like 13. How the fuck, like, why are you doing this, people? And these people did it for 14 days. 14 days. And I'm just like, you guys are all nuts because there's no way in hell. Like, listen, I watched. But what's funny is, so my wife started watching this day, and I kind of came in like 2 or 3 episodes in. What I found funny is, like, I couldn't figure out why I was stressed out watching this show. And here's why. They would come in, every week there'd be like, the people would come in and like take their blood pressure and take their pulse. And like multiple people, their fucking pulse rate was goddamn like 140. That was their pulse. In the middle of my heart attack, my pulse was not that high.
Right. Me too.
And they never talked about their blood pressure. And let me tell you, that shit made me like, these people are willingly putting themselves in a spot where they might
Big
have a fucking
danger.
heart attack.
In
And
big
they're just
danger.
like, yeah, I'll muscle through it. And I'm just like, and
No.
that was stressing me the fuck out to a point that I was like, I said to my wife, I'm like, I can't watch this. Like, it makes me nervous to even take my own blood pressure. Like, it's so fucked up. And then the last episode wasn't that, thankfully, but like 9 episodes of that, and just
Not for me.
and I said to her, I can't watch stuff like that anymore. I can't because I knowing what I went through, where my BP when I had my heart attack was 210 over 110, and my pulse was like 100, and these people are like, my pulse is fucking 126, and the other person was like 146, and I'm like, what the fuck are you still doing there? This is not worth the money. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it was actually super frustrating. So if you're someone who can handle that and not have to worry about the fucking goddamn trauma of having a heart attack and your blood pressure and your pulse being high, please don't watch that. But otherwise, great, enjoy it.
I'm gonna go check that out now. I watched Naked and Afraid. Yeah, that's crazy.
You might enjoy it. I just, like I said, it just got to a point where I was just like, at a point, like, I can't watch these people willingly put themselves at a point where, like, if that would have been me, I would have been dead out in the middle of this fucking tundra.
Yeah.
Right.
There was one thing that reminded me of watching the show Alone, which Alone is actually a show I enjoy watching because it's these people. They don't have. They're filming themselves. They have nobody with them. So they're literally alone by themselves in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. But there was a guy who went out in the last season who decided, I'm going to go out. I had a heart attack 2 years ago that left me with 35%. I had 35% of my heart functioning. What the fuck are you doing in the woods? Get the fuck out of the woods. Go home. You have the little kids. Like, I was so fucking mad at that guy. Like, holy shit.
Spoiler alert, he didn't win. But anyway, right. He went home early.
Oh, sorry.
And he went home. See, Doug, people like that piss me off because I'm pretty sure he went home saying what you said, which is, I don't have that much to live. I don't know why I'm out here. I want to see my family. And that kind of annoys me, Jeffrey, when they do these on these shows, where they get on these shows and then they quit. It annoys me because, like, you took a spot of someone who wasn't going to quit. Is how I look at it.
I understand that.
You took someone's opportunity. That, like Doug says, you have 35% capacity in your heart. Your ass needs to be fucking home with your family, motherfucker. And Doug and I are people who can feel that literally. And I've canceled, Jeffrey, since that. I've canceled so many things that I wanted to do. And I've done a few things, but I have not done most of what I would normally do if I wasn't, alien as I am.
Perspective.
Right.
It changes your perspective and outlook on life in a way. It's a lived experience that you can't really empathize with unless you've been through.
Right. So then why the fuck are you going on the TV show taking someone else, who's more healthy than you? Respectfully. Like, again, it's, we're down to it. It's just what it is. Someone more healthy could have done something with that opportunity that you just squandered. Sorry. And I don't feel bad for you. I mean, I do feel bad for you because you have, the ailment like I do, and I can relate. Not that I feel bad, I can relate. But I can't relate to you taking someone's spot when you know damn well you probably couldn't finish, or you come on now. Sure. Stop it. So that, Doug, I'm with you. I don't remember who that guy was, but I remember I was pissed the fuck off at him, actually. Because I was like, you just took someone else's opportunity. And
he was at a point where he was like having heart and chest pains. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is he hurt? And I'm like,
and Alone is a show, Doug, that it's just another show, Jeffrey, where it just seems like a white man wins all the time, and I root for the women on that show. To me, there could have been a woman or a person of color that could have took that white man's spot, because that's what it was, a white man. Someone could have took his spot and had a good chance of winning. And especially on Alone, Doug. It was the last season where that where the lady went to the end, and I was rooting for her. And she was such a kind soul. She was a beautiful person. You could tell she was just. You could just tell by the time you saw the whole show, you're just like, wow, this is a really sweet lady, and she almost won. But like, my point is that I just see, especially when it's a white man, it really even annoys me even more because it's like, bitch, you had an opportunity and you fucked somebody over, or fully saying, look, I shouldn't be here, and there should, think of other people, again, you have time, so you can get healthier. Doug got healthier. I'm working on it, but you can start to eat healthier, do healthier things. You can feel healthier, and then you can go next year or the year after. But don't be coming with no 35% of your heart rate, motherfucker. You're gonna make me want to give you a heart attack. Anyway, and you're gonna make me like you, yeah, right? I don't mean that. Y'all know I don't, but it's just frustrating sometimes.
It's
so.
frustrating. I get it.
Right. So what's not frustrating, Jeffrey, is having you around. And Doug and I love it. We're actually on our third hour now?
Almost. I'm like,
yeah. Time flies when you're having fun, and when you're I'm not. I.
Go for
Oh, wait. What is tofurkey again? Is that the duck and the turkey?
No, that's turkey. A turducken. No, turkey is like the original.
Zach.
Yeah, no, you're thinking turducken.
Zach. No, man, I can't do it. I roll kind of like Doug does, which is it's a budget, and so I will eat a little bit crazy on Thanksgiving, and then I'll be good to the bookend days.
It's a balance. It's
right,
a balance.
Right. It's a balance. So I don't have to go the full turkey way.
No, you don't.
And I don't know. Tofu. That's a rabbit hole I'm not even actually trying to get into. But the next time you're on, we're going to ask about it. But Jeffrey, we're going to bring you back with Renee, because we didn't even really talk about nails.
That's okay.
You and Renee, again, Doug and I could just leave the stream, and you and Renee
could be like, there you guys go.
Right. It could be called the nail bar, Doug. We'll just get that. That's what we should do.
Well, that's
the
great.
nail bar.
I like that idea.
Right. Well, Jeffrey will have his weed, and Renee will have her drinks. Because Renee's more of a, from what I know, she's definitely more of
a cocktail person. Yeah,
cocktail person. Right. She'll throw down a beer though. She's not. She's savvy. She'll do a beer if needed, but her preference would be yes. So let's do this in the spring or late.
Yeah, for sure.
Late winter or something. Jeffrey, you cool?
Spring or late? I would say if you want. I mean, listen, only because I love events. Why don't you plan something around the beginning of Pride Month?
Oh, yes.
That's June.
Sure is.
Okay. Yeah, but
that's late spring.
That's great.
Okay.
I mean, if you're down, I mean,
I was trying to get you in earlier than that, but if that's what you
I thought I heard late spring. So to me, late spring is late end of May.
I'm sorry, I meant late. I thought I meant late winter, early spring.
Oh, maybe I could have. It's late for me, to be really honest. So
why not
both? Misheard.
Why not both?
But I heard late spring, and I was like, oh, maybe we'll do something for Pride.
Why not both?
Why not? I mean, listen, that's on you. I don't want to be a hog.
No, you're not a hog, man. We love having you on, and we love just.
It's crazy. I love it. I think. I mean, when you guys sent your message last night as the reminder for today. Yeah. It brings such a smile. It's like, yay, I get that to look forward to on a Friday night. That is, and it's a highlight for me.
And you're coming back every Thanksgiving. It's just written in the book.
I'm here for it. Or as I would say in my home, I'm queer for it.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, you got to have the bad dad jokes.
And look, Zach's giving tips out here.
Not just I cancel it out, motherfucker, as much as I wanted to.
But
funny.
The overall Zach point though is a good fucking point. Lettuce wraps are good shit.
They are good.
Yeah, I love them. Right, Doug? You've jumped into the lettuce wraps.
Oh yeah, lettuce wraps are great.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Jeffrey, we're gonna let you go. Any
I'll see you
last
in post
thing?
production.
Yes, any last comments for that? Doug and I are just gonna talk about our beers and we'll get out of here soon. But
Keep doing.
any
Everyone, just keep doing your part to keep betting better. That's all.
all right, all right. And we got 2 years before we have another election mess. So but well, Wisconsin's got a big Supreme Court thing coming up here in the spring, so
We'll
we'll
see
be
what
rocking
happens.
and rolling. But
Thank
yeah,
you guys
so
for having me on. I appreciate it.
thanks,
Yep.
Jeffrey. Thanks for the Thanksgiving Day tips. Y'all know where to find Jeffrey. If you have any
Yep.
Thanksgiving tips, he will answer all your shit because he's that kind of
Please,
guy.
please
He
do.
actually wants the questions. He doesn't want y'all
Slide
to
into
be
my
fucked up.
DMs.
Look at that. You can slide into his DMs, preferably on Instagram, but he's on Facebook too. So y'all, if y'all need help finding Jeffrey, DM slide in Doug and Rye's DMs. We'll get you Jeffrey. But Jeffrey, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you both. I'll see you in
Thank
post
you.
production.
Love you, buddy.
Love
Love
you,
you
man.
both.
Take care of yourself.
So, Doug,
Do
without
you want to go
further
first? You want me?
without further ado, we didn't get to talk about me visiting Fobab last week.
Yeah.
Chicago, but that was a fun time. It was great. I ended up seeing ABC, but I had to literally roll up to her work. And she came down and we shared about literally like 5 minutes, literally right down her work. The car was double parked, the family was there. So my family met ABC, and that was fun. I wish we'd had more time with her, but it was what it was. But I did go to one of ABC's favorite breweries. One of them is Revolution. I was able to stop there. And when I stopped there, I picked up the Cafe Death, the vanilla variant, which was really fantastic and nice vanilla, but not too much vanilla. And then I'm having the Imperial Anti-Hero, which is a big double IPA. So there were two big beers for Revolution. It was great, Doug, because I went to Felbab and I was drinking all those barrel aged beers, and then I went to Revolution and I wasn't really into a beer kind of thing, so I got their Pilsner, and it was literally one of the best beers that I had all day. It was crisp, it was amazing, it was just so refreshing after a day of drinking beer. It was just really nice how that just like cut through my palate. We bought food there, so it was a good time. Revolution Brewing, man, they just do all good shit, and these are just two of the good ones. So, we were supposed to have a Revolution beer. The next time I see you, Doug, we'll probably have some Revolution beer. Um, I should have my shipment by then, but maybe not. Maybe I got
Hopefully
another.
so.
Yeah, but if not, yeah, we need to talk about that caramel beer.
Yeah.
I know you probably had it, but we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it was, man, it's one for you. You would love it. Did we tell Jeffrey about the
Not at
whole
all.
Zach,
Not at all.
Zach likes to air like all the behind
He
the scenes.
he likes to air all the dirty laundry because
Right, because I think it makes him feel powerful.
Yep.
What's up, Doug?
All right, so I'm going to rank these the same. Different beers. I had the Idle Days Pilsner from Omegang. That was really good. And then I had the Granite Bach. Both those were excellent. They were really good representation of the styles. I can't pick one or the other. They're just both really good representation of those styles. Yeah, and then the Dragon's Milk S'mores version. It's Dragon's Milk. How am I not going to pick that? Like, it's just great beer. Like I said, not as good as the previous variant of S'mores they had a few years ago. I'm a little. I was a little like, okay, well, the last one I had was just like a perfectly balanced s'more beer. It tastes like s'more in a glass. The marshmallow is way off. The graham cracker's not really high on it, but it's still good. It's Dragon's Milk. So yeah, that's my rankings.
All right. Yeah, and I wanted to accent this one real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a streetcar. Was it named Desire?
I don't think so. I think he means an actual streetcar because streetcars are prominent in Toronto as a way to get around. So yeah.
I had to make a dumb joke. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just a programming note. Next week I will not be here. So I believe Renee is going to step in for our co-host next week.
Yeah, and another programming note. I don't think we have a guest, so
so enjoy.
So, I don't know what we're going to do. This is interesting. Have y'all heard of Crowns and Hops?
No, not at all, man. We only met them and hung out with them at Barrel and Flow, but yeah, we've never heard of them at all. No, but if you found beer from that, that's great.
Yes, it's probably great because they're great. But
and they ship now. They ship now, by the way.
Ooh, and Teo is someone that we need to have on the stream. We have not got it. Listen, he doesn't know. Damn it. Okay, but Teo is somebody that we need to have on the stream. He is supremely, supremely charismatic, and he is. What did I call him before? I called him the. Did I call him the king of black brewers, or what did I call him? Because
something to that effect. But
he's just magnetic, and he's just everybody loves. He has there's one person that has universal respect of all the black brewers in this country, it's that guy. It's us, and everybody loves him. There's nothing not to like about him. Again, not that people don't respect Mac Brewing or Libco or you know what I mean. Any of the people that we've had on, there's all due respect there, all there. But Teo just has a different aura about him, and he just has a different. He's just amazing. So, yes, Zach, and we need to. He will be on. He's agreed to come on. Doug and I haven't either reached out or worked hard enough to get him. So we're going to do that. I don't know.
We'll definitely have him on at some point.
Yeah. We just, I think it's actually. I think I'm the one who's supposed to book him, not Doug. So then it's my fault that we haven't had him on yet. But he's going to be on at some point, and we're going to have a blast because he's just a fucking amazing person. Fun personality, all that. The full package. If there's one full package, that's that guy. So yeah, they had a beer at Trader Joe's.
That's great. I'm glad they had some there. Yeah.
Yep. They deserve all the flowers. Their beers are great. They're great people. Love it. So yes, next week Doug will be absent, but I'm pretty sure, I'm 90% sure we'll have something for y'all. There is a 10% chance that I just take it off because Thanksgiving.
Hey, but, we don't ever take Fridays off. So man, if you decide,
no, we don't. Right. But it won't be because Renee's already stepped up and said she would do it. So she was busy this week, but she was not next week. So Renee and I doing a little cult bar thing. We might want to do that too. Who knows?
Hey, that'd be awesome.
Who knows? But she's our friend and we love her too. So we will see y'all. You will see Doug after Thanksgiving. You will see me probably before Thanksgiving. But again, next Tuesday I'll be doing this on Twitter. So if y'all want to talk more about Thanksgiving and about soul food, maybe pick up some soul food recipes for your Thanksgiving. We'll be doing that. But Doug, I love you, and I will talk to you soon. You have a great weekend next week, and we'll see you Black Friday.
Yep, love you too, man. Take care.